Yet another week in the month of Pink October. Good morning to you, cherished viewers. You are welcome to the Koko Morning Show. We are coming to you live from the studios of Clock TV. And you can also catch us on GoTV channel 184. And if you're not in the comfort of your homes, you can join us via social media, specifically Facebook and YouTube. Join in the conversations there. Send your comments to our live stream on there. And also, when our phone lines are opened, I will alert you so you can call and share your thoughts and opinions. You can also share those via our WhatsApp number that also will be subsequently displayed onto your screens. Now, today's conversations on the newspaper print review is going to be an extended version, as we would like to be hearing from our cherished viewers. We want to know your thoughts and opinions and some of the solutions that you may have to some of the issues at hand, anything happening in and around your vicinities or environs. You can also share with us. On the lifestyle segment, the discussion is going to be about personal hygiene, practical tips that make everyday, that count, make everyday hygiene better for all of us. Then business and sports will be bringing us news as always. For now, let's take our motivational quotes for today. So as the week has begun, Koko Morning Show always makes sure to motivate ourselves and also motivate our viewers. Now, today's quote is by Thabo Mbeki, and it says here, "Those who complete the journey are not those who avoid the battle, but those who continue despite it. Those who complete the journey are not those who avoid the battle, but those who continue despite it." Now, this carries a very powerful message about perseverance and the strength of character. It reminds us that life's path is rarely smooth, and success is not measured by how easily we travel it by, but by how steadfastly we keep moving when faced with obstacles. Now, the battle, in his words, symbolized the many forms of struggle that we encounter: personal challenges, societal barriers, failures, and moments of doubt. Mbeki also emphasizes that those who truly complete the journey are not the ones who escape the difficulty or seek comfort, but the ones who confront adversity head on. Now, these are the people who, even weary or discouraged, find the inner resolve to keep going. In a broader sense, the quote reflects a message of leadership and nation building, values that Mbeki often champion. Now, he was a president of one of the African countries. I don't particularly recall. I think one of the southern, eastern African countries, yes. And yes, whether it's an individual pursuing a dream, a community striving for justice, or a nation overcoming hardship, progress demands endurance. Growth and transformation are forged in the fires of struggle, not in the absence of it. Ultimately, Thabo Mbeki's words inspire us to see challenges not as deterrents, but as defining moments that build resilience, character, and also true achievement. Now, the journey completed is not by avoiding battles, but by having courage to fight through them and emerge stronger on the other side. Now, this is what Thabo Mbeki is telling us, that it's not just about, going through the struggles, but having that inner resolve to push through regardless of the challenges, regardless of all the shortcomings that we may see, even the setbacks. And as we're beginning this week, I'm sure this quote has come to give you some hope as to how to push through. If you needed a sign to push through, to not give up, this is your sign, and I hope you're motivated. Now, let's take our weather forecast for today. So let's have the image displayed for our viewers here. So now we can see that this weather forecast is for the 21st of October, 2025. That's today. And it's saying here that early this morning, mist or fog patches are expected to form over forested and mountainous areas, reducing visibility. However, as the day progresses into the afternoon, bright and fair weather conditions are anticipated to dominate parts of the country. Later in the day, localized thundery showers are likely to occur over places within the transition and middle sectors. So we always need to get strapped, especially in this time of the season where We are not sure when it will rain. Keep an umbrella by your side, keep a raincoat. And if you have a car and it seems cloudy, do offer to help someone with a lift. Just extend a helping hand to somebody out there. So now let's get ready to go into our online and print review. Welcome back to the Koko Digest Morning Show. And if you're just tuning in, it's time for our online and print review extended version. And I have my co-hosts here with me in the persons of Naneo Asari and Peter Nsia. They're going to be having the conversation here with me. And also, the phone lines will be open shortly so that the three of us don't hog the conversations. We would like to hear from you. We want you to also interact with us, share your thoughts and opinions. And as always, I'd like to remind you, let's keep it respectful and decorous as well. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
How are we doing?
Up and
We are up and grateful.
divine selection.
Divine selection. Okay, right. So, how was the weekend? What did we pick up? What news did we also come across?
Yes.
Well, the weekend, what actually was all over the news on social media and everywhere was Shatawali's shutdown of the Independence Square. Over 20,000, over 30,000 people gathered together for what he called the Shatterfest. And a lot of people, that shows the kind of pull that he has, knowing that the whole place was overflowing with people.
Right.
And trooping in, trooping out. But so far, we heard of pockets of certain incidents, but these are normal everywhere around the world. But whenever a lot of people do gather, but it was mostly a peaceful event, and it showed how, as you know, people say the streets love Shatawali. So yes, it's another feather in his cap. If it had to be done in that particular manner, then it had to be Shatawali, and he did it, and he did it well.
Right. So, was it like a musical concert?
It was a musical concert.
Okay, so he was performing the whole time?
Yes,
I didn't
he had other
follow it
people.
though.
He had other people come
On the
in to
bill,
come
okay.
and perform on the bill. If the Shatawali fans are there, some of we saw reconciliations on the stage. We saw some, Shatawali. This is his favorite song, "Taking Over." We did that song. There was one guy on it called Adisef.
Okay.
And he had an altercation with Shatawali shortly after. But the beautiful scene that we saw was that he came on the show, knelt down in front of Shatawali, hugged him, and then they reconciled, and then they performed together on the stage. So it was quite a good one, and it was done in that kind of manner. That's what I'm saying, that if it had to be done that way, then it had to be Shatawali.
Okay.
So it was a colorful event. Lots of people, even foreigners, trooping in to come and support him.
Yes, I think I saw videos of, an Asian singing wholeheartedly to one of his songs.
So it was quite a good one. It was very, very good.
All right. So, adding on to the Shatterfest, I think I saw a post by Bus Stop Boys that they had gotten a gig to clean up the Independence Square. And I must say, the scenes after the Shatterfest,
it happens.
Our culture when it comes to hygiene.
It happens all over. You remember Sarkodie also did one not quite long ago in Kumasi, where he also shut down the Babayara Sports Stadium. Over 40,000 people in attendance for his particular concert. And when they finished, right, it was the Bus Stop Boys once again who were given that particular nod to make sure that they had the place taken care of. So it's something that is being done. Whenever you go to stadiums, even in the UK, for instance, when you go to stadiums, there are stewards or there are people who immediately clean up the place, and that's the culture we are trying to imbibe, because people buy snacks, popcorn, and all that, and then they clean up. But we are not advocating for the fact that people should litter, because that's what we saw. But then also, some of these things happen, and that's why we have people to clean up right after they are done.
All right. But then there can be bins at vantage points or something where
there were bins at vantage
they
points.
Were. Then
Yes.
I'm sure they were
Naturally speaking, when you go to the Independence Square, even as now, there are bins all around the place, at almost every entrance or at almost every seating corner or something. There are bins there. So it's something that we may have been expecting to happen, and then they actually catered for it, because when you go and look over the place now, the Bus Stop Boys really did a fantastic job, a very good job at that.
Then I would ask, if the bus stop boys were not there to do that, who would have gone there to clean? Would they have been the Zoom Lion?
There are a lot of cleaning agencies.
Okay.
I don't want to mention names and then maybe sponsor or directly advertise for them. But the reason why I mentioned the bus stop boys is because they are sort of youth advocacy group, and they do not, should I say, charge for their services. For instance, you go around seeing them doing a lot of education on cleaning and advocacy and all that. These are what we are championing for all our youth to be engaging in. And if they are doing that, that's why I actually give them the accolades. They receive donations from other people. They end up using them to buy tricycles and whatnot and cleaning equipment. And you see that they are actually doing a good job at that, and kudos to them. That's why I mentioned them. But the others are for profit making, so I can't mention them.
But in the end, it's for cleaning a nation. So, Peter, are you an SM fan?
This is a tough question, but I'll prefer to answer it back.
Right.
He's a beam native.
I see. We'll bring an SM fan in. The two of you will go at it here. So yes, what do you also have trending? What did you pick up over the weekend?
So like Nana rightly said, over the weekend a whole lot transpired. Like Nana said, you can't take away Shatterfest. And then there's something I can also get over. Man United winning over Liverpool. It came as a shocker, but then we take it like that. The Man United fans are giving us, some. We will just take it like that.
But Peter, which club do you support anyway?
I'm a Chelsea fan.
Oh, quite unfortunate. Anyway, we just move on.
Chelsea, but so Man United won in a mirror. Maybe it's a sign.
But then this. Well, let me keep quiet before
bring it out. Say it.
Yeah, so I mean, away from that. Yesterday, before my trend, I experienced something. It's something that has been going on, but it's high time authorities step in to find a lasting solution to it. All over from ministries here to Koko board down to Tudu to Odoko. When it is about 5:35, 6 o'clock, when all offices close and heading towards home, there's this kind of traffic at Koko board, Tudu, everywhere. Getting car to your various destinations becomes a problem. That's where you see people passing through windows and all that. It is very serious. Yesterday, I witnessed a disturbing one at Odoko, an old woman close to her late 50s, rushing to get a car to go home. Unfortunately, this woman fell. She fell like Otofo Odaya with all her legs up. I mean, it's very disturbing. When you go to Koko board, you will see a more disturbing scene from that. So I think there's pressure here in Accra. And so when you take a look at Accra, we have most of our offices here, all the ministries located here, Accra being the central business. And so the pressure here is too much. When you wake up early, if you want to get to office before 8, it means that wherever you're coming from, you have to wake up before 5, like 4:30. Even with that, if care is not taken, you wouldn't get here before 8. The pressure, the traffic, and all that. So I am thinking that if the ministries here can actually get buses for the workers, the ministries here, so that there wouldn't be pressure on the commercial cars that tend to take the market women to and fro, so that there will be the traffic. Because when you close at 5:30, if you see the number of people from the ministries heading towards that side to pay cars, these commercial cars they are not many, and that is when you see drivers and maids taking unfair prices.
Prices,
I mean, from the, Accra to La Paz is 6 cedis. They take like 10 cedis. From Tudu to Kaswa, some people take like 15 cedis, 20 cedis. People will buy because at that time you are tired.
Yes,
you need to
want
get
to do
home
everything
and
to get
rest.
home.
So the pressure there is too much. So I'm thinking that the ministry can actually do that, if not taking it from the salaries of the civil servants. But then if there are buses and then you charge any amount, they'll pick, so that there will be less pressure on the people commuting from Accra to their various destinations. And also, I think that it's also high time that we move some of the ministries from here to from Accra here to other destinations in Accra, if not to other regions. it's high time so that it will ease the pressure, because most of the companies are here in Accra. Everything, all the ministries are here in Accra. And so there's pressure here. There's pressure. And so when you get to that place around 5, 6, 7, even as at 8, you will see people lined up waiting for cars. And then these drivers will be charging exorbitant prices. And that's where some of these boys who are high on drugs tend to steal. Sometimes you'll be there and women will be complaining that as they rush for the cars, others too will be stealing. A whole lot happens. And so most of the times when you get there, my colleagues leave me because thinking of fighting over a car, and then if by mistake I tend to hit an old woman and she falls or something, I wouldn't feel better. So sometimes it's very difficult, and then it's high time the ministries look into it, and so that we see what we can do. And then I've also seen that as part of the campaign promises, as usual, for some political parties, that one candidate has promised that when he becomes the president, he will send the Ministry of Energy to the Western region, food to the Northern region, and all that. I mean, even not that within Accra here, we can send some of the ministries to, let's say, assuming we send a ministry to Sotium, Kaswa, and all that, so that, I mean, there will be, yes, because the traffic here is too much, seriously.
You know, there was a day I was on my way home from work, and I think the pressure had gotten to me so badly, it made, ideas just start getting stimulated in my head. And I was thinking about the fact that back in the day when this system was created, it was based on the population, but now the population has increased. Because, like you mentioned, the buses, there was a time where each ministry or most ministries had buses for the employees. But looking at, how time has gone by, it's been about 30 to 40 years, give or take, and the populations have increased. So I was even thinking that why don't we look at a system where we put these ministries and agencies at the constituency level? So we have them at the regional levels where, at least if you're looking for maybe Clogsag, you will find Clogsag in maybe Central Region. You find, regional offices. But what about maybe more offices, or opening more, maybe renting or building more places where some of these agencies can ship some of their workers to? Because now we have the internet, we have all this AI and automation and technology, basically. So even if you are not coming to work here in the ministries, if you're coming to work maybe somewhere at Medina, and it's closer to home, you can still do your work, send the emails, operate as a ministry or a subset of the ministry, all under one ministry. It would help, like you're saying, because if you have to come to work and it's taking you 2 hours to sit in traffic to get to work, and then another 2, even 3, after fighting for car to get home, then 9 to 5 now becomes even more, extra 5 hours in addition. How much time are you going to even have for yourself, your health, your children? I was thinking about it, and I was so sad about the fact that this is what a lot of us are going to go through for about 30 years more to come, And it even brought back the idea of even the school placement thing where, I think this government previously started the community day schools for that. And they also wanted to put these schools at vantage points where, even if you don't get to go far away, or if you cannot afford, you can go to a school that's close to home. And all of these things could help us because, like you're saying, the pressure is high. It's very high, to the point where, like the public transport guys, they have this new system, shadow boys. Nobody has employed them, or they have employed themselves, and they bully the drivers and the mates to pay them for getting people into their cars. So now these drivers also don't want them to work for them. So sometimes they leave us stranded. They go to a further place before, they get passengers. And by the time you even get there, you're even extra tired. And it's like, to what end? Because this is a very vicious cycle.
When it comes to this thing, I remember I've said it over and over again. Now, the backbone of every strong economy rests on a robust transportation system. We take cues from what we see from around the Western world, and then we try to implement them in and around where we are at the moment. They are more dense or denser populated areas than Accra. More cities that are more dense. When you go to even London, London is more densely populated and more cosmopolitan than Accra is. Yet they find their way in and around. Within 30 minutes, you can move and all that. What we have to do is to now change our mindset. And the reason why I said the backbone of every economy is a robust transportation system is, now we look at there's this docu-series about the men who built America. It looks at people like Andrew Carnegie, Cornelius Vanderbilt, Henry Ford, John D. Rockefeller, and the likes. Now, what happened is, when you look at what they did, initially, the main source of transporting goods and services in America from one state to the other was via ships. So ships were the main source. And then Andrew Carnegie used to have a lot of fleet of ships. Cornelius Vanderbilt used to own a lot of fleet of ships. But then they realized that it wasn't as effective, because when you get ashore, you need to transport the goods from the shore to the various places. So then what did they do? One of them started investing in railways. And it was Cornelius Vanderbilt. He started investing in railways, and then he invested in railways so that now railways became one of the best or the easier transported systems in the world. So now, if you want to get something from, let's say, San Francisco to Florida, it's within a matter of maybe hours, you get that thing done, rather than waiting for the ship to go ashore and all that. So that was what was being done. Fast forward from that time, almost the 19th century or 18th century, 19th century thereabouts, the 21st century in Ghana, we are still not implementing railways to its fullest. Now, when you look at the same railway tracks, it's almost similar, the routes that they actually developed. It's similar to what they have done and now implemented, the bullet trains and all that. So you realize that someone can be living in New Jersey and then be going to work in Manhattan. Take a speed train, within 30 minutes, 40 minutes, they've traveled. Now, let me ask you, within 30 minutes, will you be able to move from here to Medina if I should tell you to go right now? But look at the distance in kilometers. Very short.
Yeah.
But people move from, let's say, from here to Tamale to work every day. And it's normal for them. When you go to Japan, the bullet trains are even faster there. You move from Osaka all the way to Yokoshima. Matter of minutes. These are things that they have actually planned and implemented. Yet, when it comes to Ghana, we still depend on STC buses, moving us as our main source of travel and all that. So if we want to reduce the population in Ghana, we have to make sure that, imagine you can move from Accra, from where our central business district is, to Tantre in Cape Coast in 30 minutes, which is doable when you have, even if it's not a bullet train, if you have a normal train, a normal speed train, you can actually do that. Yet we sort of focus so much on the wrong infrastructure building. We have difficulty in transporting our goods and services, and then we'll close, and it's like some sort of vicious cycle. Every day, they are coming back into this stress, and our people are being stressed. They die early, and it's just a matter of us going back to the drawing board and realizing that, hey, now we have to focus on better transporting systems. When you see an American taking a bus, then it means, let's say, it's a short trip, or even a British. I can use the British. It's a short distance from, let's say, from here to Osu. These are where the bus routes are, and that's how it's supposed to work. But we have missed the point altogether, and we want to match up with them in terms of infrastructure. I mentioned earlier that the time that industrial revolution was actually going on, we were not practicing it. So we still plant, and then we now go and give those who have gone beyond industrial revolution raw materials for them to process for us, and then they bring it back to us. Yet we can actually go back to the drawing board, set up these things, and then make sure that our growth and expansion begins from there. That's one of the basic things that we have to look at and curb. Otherwise, we are not going anywhere. This transport system, it's projected that Accra is going to be even more densely populated in the next few years or the coming years. Number of people that are going to buy cars, when it is everybody's dream
to have their own car.
To have their own car, the roads are not expanding.
Also being willing to move to other regions.
And if you get money, if I should give you $2 million right now, the next place you are going to look for land is East Legon, Cantonment, and then you start building. Because everybody has that particular sort of dream. So why don't we rather focus on making other places accessible for development? Why don't we focus? Because this thing, we'll talk about it, and then we'll still come back here and come and talk about it. If you not, the Bible says, if the foundation is destroyed, what can the righteous do? And we are not even righteous in this country, and the foundation is also destroyed. So if we do not have the fundamental or the fundamental basics set right, then it's going to be a vicious cycle where we are. A lot of people going within this cycle, they move and then they enter new systems. For instance, they go to school and they don't want to come back to come and help this country because if I come and help this country, I'll wake up at 5 a.m. and go to the roadside. And if I'm not lucky, someone with a motorbike will come and snatch my phone.
Right?
And if I'm not lucky,
will just tear your dress.
Exactly. And if I've gone to school over there to acquire knowledge, why won't I stay there and then help where I have actually acquired the knowledge in? And this is the same vicious cycle that I'm talking about. Unless something drastic happens, unless a drastic change happens, then we are not going to see any improvement. It's going to be like that.
You know, talking about the railway system that you have, expanded upon, I have a very controversial question to ask both of you. We were in this country when, let me be serious. We were in this country when we heard of Sky Trains. What happened?
So the thing is, no one is disputing the fact that Sky Trains are better forms of transport, right? Now, we have to go back once again to the drawing board. The railways that you actually have on ground and then there are rails, how effective are they functioning?
Galamsey is you've not destroying some.
Exactly. You've not worked on it properly. You've not implemented on it. It's like your house being in disarray and then you going to counsel another people on their marriage. You can, if you've not set the basics right, then how can you build upon Sky Trains? You do Sky Trains, and then how many of them will be in? And look at the amount of money that you are going to use to spend on that Sky Train. Meanwhile, people from Enyinem would want to convey their tomatoes
and you put that in the Sky Train.
We can't put that in Sky Trains. So it's just something that is good, but that wasn't the right timing. And then
but we never heard of what what's the word I'm looking for? We didn't hear of any updates. We just heard that yes, there was some money allocated for something along those lines.
I mean, those who actually did that particular, I don't want to just come out and outrightly say it was a scam or it was a corruption, because you know that this thing will not fly. It's something that will not sit well with Ghanaians.
Okay, let's move on so that we don't get into trouble.
Still on this transport system, when we provide solution to one problem, it opens another door, or it serves as a solution to another problem. Now, talking about this transport system here in Accra, we've been complaining about sanitation, filth. We are dying. This is all because of the population here. Same Accra central business, like for instance, when it rains, when it rains,
terrible.
it's very terrible. I mean, so like Nana said, if we are able to decentralize to, other regions to, it will definitely help. It will ease the pressure and all of that. But like Nana rightly said, unless something happens. But we are going to push this agenda, it should happen. So that, and then, I mean, when it happens like this, there will be other projects, other developmental projects in other regions that people would like to stay there and wouldn't want to move to Accra. For instance, if I happen to school here, if I finish my university course, I wouldn't want to go back to the village I came from. I would like to stay here in Accra to work.
And imagine that you can actually move from your village to Accra within 30 minutes. Everyone would go, and then we'll be developing our areas. Now, I talked about all these people, the Andrew Carnegie, J.P. Morgan, and all that. That is the fundamental basis of how they built America. And these people were private individuals. Now, let's look at the private individuals in charge of our transportation system. If you should ask them that, you know what, we think that railways are the best or the next thing to actually do for development. Now, would you rather want to invest in a railway expansion, this thing? You get all these transport companies together. Would you want to invest in getting a train? If three of them can actually own a train or maybe a rail line, so that at least we start seeing improvements and movements. Because if one rail line is set from Accra to Kumasi, the number of trains that can use there in a day is more than enough. And imagine that you are setting railway substations, then employment that you are going to create for those over there, because a lot of people will also will come park their cars around the road. You are setting security guards. You are setting jobs for the ticketing people. You are setting jobs for those who are going to do the maintenance on the railway substations. You are creating employment for a whole new employer. As you mentioned, creating solution for a particular problem brings about other economic improvements, or if I can put it that way. So this thing, if we don't change our mind towards some of these things, then we are going to go on. As Albert Einstein said, doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results is insanity. We are running a transportation system the same way over and over. If you want to go to Kumasi, unless you go and sit in an STC bus, a VIP bus, or you take Passion Air and all that. These are not the best means to travel. When we have rail lines in and around that particular same stretch, that would not cost a lot more to maintain. Yeah, look at the monies that we are spending on the expansion of roads in this year. If we should actually allocate that in the expansion of railways and then making sure that they function better, we'll reduce congestion, or we'll reduce the number of people that are doing that. Now, a lot of people, when the Tema to Accra Railway project commenced, and they even gave free rides, people went in them and then they said that, now if I'm going to work, I don't need to even take my car. Or I'll just drive, park it at the filling station and walk.
Or even someone can set up a parking lot that's
and then
be
taking 10 cedis or 5 cedis per day. It saves you fuel. You come back, you get to that particular place, you take your car, you go to your house, and that's it.
All right. With the railway situation and even the expansion of the roads, like you were saying, that if we want, something needs to happen. And I'm always talking about the people, because when it comes down to it, the people make the nation. Now, if maybe this railway system, we are going to start it, and it's going to displace a lot of people, you will see that they will push against it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but let me land, right? So in looking at the fact that these are also humans, these are also families, fine, we can't say the comfort of a few should, matter more than the greater, but the point is, sometimes we also need to put ourselves in their shoes. Whatever circumstances, the reason they are in these situations where they are living along the roads, they have their shops, and, we see this stop the work and produce permit and remove and all of that. If, as a nation, we go back to the drawing board and we want to, start these projects, the railways, the systems, better transportation and the rest, the places that we're going to need, like let's use the roads, right? Along the roads, some people have homes and some people have shacks and all of that there. I think that in order to make sure that, it's not about pleasing everybody though, but in order to make sure that there isn't so much of a pushback, there should be some, compensation made. Because I know that I think I heard that when the Dodowa Road was going to be expanded, some of the people whose shops and things had to be removed were given some sort of compensation or relocated. Now, this way, it may not be ideal for them because maybe that, location was a very good place to sell and do whatever business they had to run. But in the end, for the fact that, okay, my leaders thought about me and my business and gave me something, you would see that the attitude towards accepting or rejecting the project will change. As we are saying, a lot of education needs to go on. Now, if these people are also compensated and properly educated that, look, when this railroad is completed, you won't need to spend so much time in traffic, even though it's going to cost you your shop. But we are giving you this location to set up your shop and, rebuild. Don't you think that would help? Because these are human beings in the end.
But Yaira, when we follow this trend, we wouldn't develop as a country. So when you allow them to stay there and something happens, it goes down to the government as well. We have to provide and all that. You see, that's why we have town planning and
yeah, that's what I'm saying. We should look at regrouping them somewhere else so that they don't push back.
Before we even go on, right? There was a blueprint for this particular country in our railway system.
Yeah.
And this was done way back in the 1950s. A copy of such is
I really wish we could display it.
A copy of such. This was in 1950. Okay. Now in 2015.
So let me give. So we have the railroad. We have it coming from Shire Hills to Tema to Achimota. There's a little bit coming to Accra. Then it goes to Kotoku in Sawam. Then we have Koforidia Diamond Mine to Koko to Kumasi. Then to Dunkwa. Then there's a part of it that goes to Awaso, the bauxite mine area.
Just look at the Takwa area in the western region.
So now, so now we have it going from Takrade to Kojokrom, Sekendi, Manso, coming to the Takwa gold mines, Huni Valley. Then another one goes to the Prestia area. Then another one joins the Dunkwa. And this was even before the 1950s, actually.
This is before 1950s.
Yes. I'm seeing the earliest is 1902.
So I'm saying that, what I'm saying is the blueprints of railway systems have been long established in the country. The blueprints of railway systems, they have been long established in the country. So no one has an excuse of settling in and around the railway lines or railway spots. No one has an excuse. And once again, development must and should always come at a cost. And what is the cost? The cost of a few being unsettled for the benefit of the whole. If a few are living in railway lines, if a few have set shops along railway lines, the Ghana Railway Development Authority should actually move and make sure that they leave those areas. Now, in 2015, once again, before this particular government was overthrown, or not overthrown, was displaced by the MPP. In 2015, they actually set up a new railway framework, which they mentioned that it was going to cost Ghana 21.5 billion United States dollars for us to actually move into this new, add a lot of railway systems, maintain the old. And this was designed to be a 30-year railway framework, a 30-year railway framework. This was what was actually designed, like from 2015, and then you add 30 years to it. But right now, the kind of investment that was put in at the time, it was estimated at 21.5 billion United States dollars will do the job for Ghana to have better railway systems so that we'll be able to have speed trains, not even bullet trains, but speed trains to move up and around the country and all that. $21.5 billion. That was in 2015. In 2020, another contractor came to bear, Ghana Railway Development Authority. Once again, talking about 30 million United States dollars, 30 billion United States dollars for a railway, boosting our railway economy. Up to now, we do not see the light of this. And monies are being allocated to project groups and all that to make sure that these things actually happen and function. Yet, we have nothing to write home about when it comes to railways and the railway development in this country. So if you are going to think about the benefits of the few, we are going to think about how the few are going to be affected before you even build your house. This is a plan that was done in 1902. Before
in the 1920s, basically.
In the 1920s, basically, yeah, just as you're saying. And Nkrumah came and he built on this, right? We saw trains moving goods and services. But then right now, we do not have them. That is why our economy will continue to be ailing, because goods and services are produced. We don't have industries to turn them into processed goods. So we take them in their raw state and then take them to Kwesi Broni, who will then charge exorbitant fees or prices in dollars. And then we'll process it and bring it back for us to buy in dollars as well. And these are our own produces that we are producing in this particular country. So if we are going to make sure that there is going to be change, then it's a long shot, but it's also hard work. It's not that as though it's not doable. It's very doable, but it's a long shot.
Yeah. I'm only advocating for, making sure that people don't riot out of anger, because look, at the end of it, it comes back to the grassroots, right? So whoever is, in the places where we want to undertake these projects, there should be something, because even if, let's say, where you are building your house, government comes to say, today we are coming to use this area for railroad, and then the government just leaves you hanging without, you wouldn't be happy about it. It's not even about your feelings though, but it's a little unfair because this is land that you've probably acquired with your blood, sweat and tears and whatnot. You are building, right? So you would definitely expect that the government, okay, if you're coming to collect my land to use to construct a project or complete a project, what happens to me? Because I was going to live here, but because it's state-owned, state property and all that, that's what I want us to think about. Because if these people get angry, right, and then decide just for the fact that they are angry and they've been displaced, they're coming to destroy, millions of cedis or whatever currency has been, pushed into the project, where does that put us then? You see?
I won't take you far. Recently, here in Accra, the Accra Metropolitan, it decided to embark on decongestion exercise to make Accra very motorable, clean, and all that. We saw at Koko board, we heard that one of them had an accident there. The car failed its brake and one person died. You understand? But when the decongestion exercise was taking place, I understand the plight of our mothers. They were complaining they don't have anywhere and all that. But when they allowed them to be there and the accident happened, they were blaming, government to some extent. And so we don't have any excuse by saying, now, if you want to purchase a land, you have to ensure that where the land is, you are not. These days, if you are here in Accra, those who have been, roaming a lot, let me use, for lack of better word, roaming a lot. If you don't take care, you end up entering somebody's bathroom. There are no streets, like nothing. Yeah. Because, you see, it's high time we put an end to the rate at which we fight on Ramsar sites and a whole lot. You see people building in street. I mean, it doesn't augur well. Yeah. And that's, if an incident happened, that's when the fire service comes in. If there's a fire outbreak, there's no way
for them to even
go built in the street and all that. So, I mean, we shouldn't tolerate that, because if we say we are taking into consideration, they should do the right thing. We have the town plan, like Nana said, we have a blueprint. So it is not anywhere that we can acquire land or build anything. So you should understand that some people should understand that the place they are right now, when the right time comes, they'll be moved. If you build a multi-million-dollar mansion, then you know you are not on the right land. it will be pulled down.
No,
and
that
so
one
the
they
thing
should
is,
move it from under
and
relocate it like a kiosk.
another thing that we've seen is that a lot of these people know that some people go and then go and acquire land in places that they know that is not correct. For instance, case in point, when they were doing the Pukwase to Nsawam Highway, the newly constructed one, people went and then they said their houses are being demolished. They were going to report to the police station. By the time they got to the police station had been marked for demolition, and then they were actually demolishing it. And what we gathered from that particular thing was that now the earlier settlers, when they bought the properties, were warned that this is not a place that you buy. They bought it anyway, or they took it. Immediately they took it, and the government came to displace them. The government had to compensate them. That was in and around 2011, 2012. The government compensated them. Now, after a while, when they realized that work was not being done on that particular plot or space, then they now sold the property to other people, and then they left. So they know that the place is
they've gotten their money.
They've gotten their money, sold to other people, and then they left after the government had compensated them. So now the government has compensated me for building in a wrongful place, and now I leave because no work is being done. I sell it to Peter, and then Peter is now building his dream house over there. Now when the government comes, the government should not compensate Peter because he didn't his due diligence. So we have to know that, and these people were displaced. A typical place is Festus Hotel, one of the biggest hotels on that particular stretch. It was also broken down to make way for road. So if these things, you have to understand, imagine the owner's plight at the moment. He will be angry. He might probably not vote for the government that did that again in his life. But you have to know that development comes at a cost. And sometimes not all the popular decisions are the right decisions. So if this has been done, then we should actually embrace it for the benefit of most. Now, now that work is going on over there, the commuters that are applying that route are actually happy.
They've been complaining actually that they should speed up the process because of the rains.
Yes, I heard. Initially they were complaining, but now the work is being done. I went to Kutunse a few days ago, and I was amazed at what I had seen. From what I experienced a couple of months ago, because that particular side of the road was on more trouble. But right now, when you are going to Fise, from Amasaman, you go to Pubiman, Fise, and all those places, the road is being done. At least you have a good place to actually pass, and you can see that there's improvements going on in that particular side. So,
all right, let's ask our viewers, our cherished viewers. We would like to hear your thoughts on some of the strategies to reduce traffic congestion here in Accra. What are some of the things you think that the government can do? And, your messages to our fellow Ghanaians who are also part of the problem. So we would like to hear from you. Now, speaking about, you mentioned fire outbreak, and I think on our way to work this morning, we saw something about Kantamanto. Also, there was a fire outbreak there, but I think there will be more news on that later in the day. And it's bringing my mind back to the last conversation on the fire outbreak a few months ago, where, I think they were planning on how to rebuild the place, and the people themselves took matters into their own hands and went to rebuild again. Well, we'll be getting more news on that shortly, so I'm sure on Express Updates we'll be bringing you more details on that story. Now, it's not Momo Fest, Shatter Fest. Yeah. They said there was a policeman there was a man that was dressed in police attire. A
32-year-old man, yes.
The lengths people will go.
He just wanted to get closer to the event. So he dressed as part of the security people, as a policeman, and then went to make sure that maybe he would have access to the places where they are strictly secured for the people. And then once again, Ghana police, you cannot mess about just like that for them. But what we should actually think or do is that if he has all these things on him, then this is not the first time that he's actually perpetrating.
Where did he get the uniform?
This is not the first time that he's actually done this thing. So we should find out where, if we had better forensic services, we'll find out where whether the guns that he's used, the shells, they found some similar shells elsewhere and all that. And
he has IDs and all that.
Yeah, he has IDs. So you realize that, and he's not an actual policeman. Yeah. Realize that this is something that should call for further investigation. When he started doing this, because clearly this is not the first time, and with the confidence that he was working with, you realize that. And look at the phones that he's using as well.
He had to look the part.
And I'm sure he's not alone.
Yeah, and it's making me wonder where he got the uniform. Because, I mean, these things are not exactly on the market for everybody. I know there are a few camouflage clothes here and there, but it's not just any kind of camouflage. This is the Ghana police one, and he has access to it. I'm about to make an allegation. Does it mean he probably has a friend in the Ghana Police Service who lent him his uniform or something?
So I think we should wait for
more details.
Yes, but most of these uniforms are tagged with the individuals that actually get them. And getting this kind of material in Ghana, when you want to actually get things, you can get things, because this material, although is unique, it can be made for you. Or there are other people that do that. In Ghana, we do tie and dye. We do all of these things. And then the patterns on them are unique. But I'm sure the reason why he was caught was that it was similar to those ones.
Maybe this is not even a uniform for Ghana Police, but he has gone to put there. But
exactly.
Well, maybe he was sloppy.
The reason why he was caught is because he was not smart enough.
No, let's not use that. Else,
it's true.
It will make it look like other people who are doing the same thing are smarter or something.
But we still have people who are impersonating the
yes,
even the military.
And the thing is, first of all, if you are smart in the first place, you not impersonate a police officer.
At an event like this.
A 32-year-old man.
He wants free entry or something.
The event was free.
It was? Oh, okay.
The event was free.
He seemed unperturbed. A whole lot is going through.
No. He'll be brought to book. When it comes like this and they catch you fresh, you think that but you've been caught with a weapon. You've been caught with security apparatus. You've been caught with a cutter, pepper spray. Look at the devices that he's been caught with, belts and all that. Don't worry. At this particular time, last week, on Friday, I happened to be around the CID headquarters, and it's not a place that I would even advise that you just go there for even excursion, because what people go through when they are being told that go and lock them up, take him to Nima, take him to Kotobabi, and you realize that is where people start to kneel down and then beg. But it'll be already too late for you. So
if you want to join, just use the right channel and join the service rather than.
Maybe he had ulterior motive. Maybe he was going to use that as a way to steal. Right. So our phone lines are opened now. So we would love to hear from you, your thoughts and opinions on the things we've discussed so far. So we're talking about transportation issues here in the country. We also have somebody impersonating the Ghana Police Service, a policeman. And we also have the issue of the fire outbreak. And next, we're going to be talking about anti-Galamsey team.
Before that, I have a message from the Ghana AIDS Commission.
Right. Okay. Yes, so we were talking about it this morning.
Yes, according to the Ghana AIDS Commission, there are about 42 new cases every blessed day.
42 new cases every day.
Every blessed day among the adult and the child population. So I have it here. Let me just break it down for viewers.
Okay.
And so in 2024, the number of people living with HIV in Ghana is 334,721. These are not election figures. 334,721. And then when you break it down by gender, females are 229,261, representing about 68.5% of the total. And then the male is 105,460. That is about 31.5%. Now, new HIV infections in 2024 alone is 15,290. And then with the females, 10,303. Male 4,987. And then AIDS-related deaths in 2024, 12,614, with the male being 5,445, female 7,154. Like I rightly said from the onset, number of new HIV infections per day, 42. And then deaths averted per week due to antiretroviral therapy is 229. And then when you come to the regional level, when you break it down, regions with the highest number of people living with HIV/AIDS is the Greater Accra region, with 77,821. Second is the Ashanti region with 63,159. And then third, Eastern region with 44,792. Now, like I said from the onset, region with the highest number of people living with HIV/AIDS is the Greater Accra.
Right. Okay, so let's put a pin in that. I think we have a caller on the line. Hello? Oh, we just lost our caller. Sorry about that. Please call back and let's get interactive. So, yes, Peter, you were giving us very strange figures.
Like I'm saying, these are no election figures. They seem to be high. And then HIV prevalence by region. So when you take the Bono region is the highest with 2.22%, followed by Eastern region 2.08%, and then followed by Ahafo region 1.88%, Northeast 0.43%. So the issue is, for me, I'm not that old. Growing up, when we go to church, they used to tell us about staying away from sex, HIV/AIDS. There was this popular song that we sing. HIV/AIDS in P. We've been singing. Teachers, health professionals come to our schools, share condom, educate us. But these days, we don't get to hear anything of that. What happened to the social media marketing campaign about these HIV/AIDS and all of that? It looks as though these days nobody cares about HIV, how the youth are faring in terms of this disease and all of that. What we currently know as youth, we have been left to fend for ourselves. What we know is about post-2 and all those things, ways to, do away with pregnancy. But the abstinence, they don't teach us the right way, how to protect ourselves. Even right now, when you go to the drugstore, I mean, I was having a conversation with some of my colleagues that going to the drugstore to even buy condom is an issue. They don't want to because they are shy.
The stigma behind it. But Peter, not to cut you, but also let's think about these things. There was also recently a survey, right, on why people would want to use protection when it comes to.
So now, hold on. We have a caller on the line. So I think our caller called back. Hello, good morning. Could you please speak up a little? Hello? Hello.
Hello.
Good morning. Thank you so much for... Okay, could you please reduce the volume of your set or move away from your set?
Hello.
Yes, hello. Hello, good morning.
Oh, okay. So, heard you about the transportation. I think that the only thing that they have to do to make everything work is that they have to place eyes on especially the drivers and other things, because I realize that sometimes the whole budget of taking the transport, they do it in a way that they want to get their own and something like that. Because maybe from Ashaman to Tema have to be 4 cities, 50 pesos. But some of the people that I've seen, I realize that they are taking much more than how it's supposed to be taken. And I think that they have to place eye on those people to be able to make, the system somehow comfortable. I think that's the only thing that they have to, because some of them are taking more than what they are supposed to take.
Thank you very much for your contribution.
I think he was talking in reference with the transport system and then the issues that we had in them. So he's advocating that these drivers also belong to unions. So there should be a direct involvement of their unions in making sure that they do not exploit their customers or the people that they actually pick up along the road. So if you should see anything happening of that sort, then you report to the union, so that if you see a driver picking someone and charging exorbitant fees in and around that particular time, you take a scan number plate, the date, and then you report to GPRTU. Let them fine him or let them sanction him, or maybe remove him from using or from commuting on the road to serve as deterrents to other drivers. But I was coming in, I was saying, talking about the HIV issue that was raised. Now, when you look at, there was a survey that went on amongst youth.
Oh, so we have a caller again. This is Ando from Kaswa. Hello, good morning. Hello? Hello? Okay, I think there's an issue, so if you can proceed.
Yes, so a survey was run to find out why people do not like to use protection amongst youth. And an overwhelming more than 80% said they use protection as a means to prevent pregnancy, unwanted pregnancy. Overwhelming percentage. Now, people have forgotten that you can contract STIs, you can contract a lot of these diseases. So people are now swaying away from the fact or protection against STIs and diseases and going towards more pregnancy prevention. So that's why they actually do that.
And they'll tell you AIDS doesn't take Cerelac.
And the reason why all these people, or the number is on the rise, is because people have realized that to prevent unwanted pregnancies, there are emergency contraceptives that you can actually take. So when you take these emergency contraceptives, then there are reasons for using protection is no longer valid. So they don't use the condom, and rather will go and take Postina 2 after engaging in unprotected sex.
Right. Okay, so holding on again to this conversation, we have Joel from Labadi on the line. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning. Thank you for calling the Koko Digest Morning Show.
Yeah, good morning.
Right. Could you please turn down the volume of your set or move away from your set, please?
Okay. So my name
Thank
is
you.
Joel. I'm calling from Labadi.
Yes. Okay. So we would like to hear you.
Yeah. Sometimes about this lorry fare matter. It's like our focus is only just on the lorry fare. Meanwhile, there are a lot of things that are bothering with the youth, For me, my own opinion, I think the lorry fare is even better than other things. Let's talk about food prices. Sometimes people cannot even longer eat like the kind of meal they prefer to eat in a day because of the number of prices. Let's even talk about the common food we all buy, gobe. Sometimes you go and buy gobe 10 cedis, 15 cedis, you're asking the woman, is it 10 cedis? So sometimes the problem is not only about the drivers. There are a lot of things, prices have gone high, and people are not talking about it. And we are suffering as the youth. You take 100 cedis to market, you can't even buy basic things, paste. Paste is now 20 cedis plus. So let's not only be worrying the drivers, let's also talk about things that matters, basic things in life. We cannot even afford our basic things any longer because prices are high. Meanwhile, every day fuel is reducing, a lot of things are coming down, the dollar is coming down, but people are set a standard that they don't want to bring their things down again. But our eyes are only focusing on the drivers. So let's not put pressure on only drivers. Let's talk about things that matters in our life.
Right.
My main problem is food. Some of us, in fact, it's not easy. It's not easy to survive. But I don't want to blame only drivers. So if we can also talk about food, prices, it will also help us as youth,
Right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Right. So he's saying we shouldn't worry too much about just one thing. There are many other things that are also bothering us. Thank you once again for your contribution. Yes, Naneo, you were telling us about...
Yes, so I was just concluding that the reason why the number of people contracting HIV daily is even on the rise because last year the metrics were different. This year we are encountering over 45 new cases daily, and it's not the best. Now, when you look at the reason why a poll was run, reason why the youth would actually use protection, a lot of them came out and then realized that came out and said that they are going to use protection as a means of pregnancy prevention. Not most of them even made mention of the fact that they are using it as a means to prevent STIs.
Yeah.
Now, that goes to show that if people get a substitute for pregnancy prevention, then they are not going to use
the protection.
So now, a lot of these emergency contraceptives are now also being advertised. We hear companies, like, I'll not mention names, but we hear the companies, and then we hear the adverts going on in and around the booths for emergency contraceptives. Now, that in itself is a family planning measure, but not an STI prevention measure. So a lot of people will go for that, and then now that there's the prevalence of that, then they no longer need the condom that they actually wear. So you realize that the numbers will keep increasing until there is a re-education of people to make sure that they understand that pregnancy prevention is not the only reason why you wear a condom, but rather it's to prevent STIs and all that. But in as much as possible, if you try and abstain as a youth until you get married, it's the best. So please, we advocate that you do that.
Right. And that being said, we should also take care of ourselves, get our, maybe biannual checkups or, quarterly checkups in the hospital. When you're checking for other things, check for STIs to make sure to also, like lifestyle segments will be teaching us, practice, personal hygiene, take care of yourself, because engaging in sexual activity is basically a lot of intimate exchange of fluids and the rest. And if one person is infected, you go around infecting other people. And if you have whatever number of partners you have, no judgment whatsoever, but make sure that you are honest with your partners.
Judge them.
Judgment is for God.
Judgment is there. Why do you have multiple partners as a young man? Judge them. Why do you have multiple boyfriends as a young woman? Judge them.
Please, judgment is for the Lord. I'm but a mere human being. So I'm just saying, on behalf of Clock TV, that make sure to get checked. Make sure to also, whatever drug therapy you've been given, whatever medications, take them to the fullest. Make sure that you are healthy. I don't want to use the term clean because nobody who has any disease is unclean. It's not biblical language here. But basically, take care of yourself, take care of your health, and then also protect your partner. Whoever you are engaging in these things with, you should care about them enough to let them know or be honest with them as well.
I want to, my last submission of this one. So, I started with, we should go back to what we used to do, where churches, communities, schools, hospitals, organizations prioritize this education about HIV/AIDS. It is very, very important that these days, look as if we've all lost touch to these things, that churches should begin. And I've seen so many churches who have begun, teaching the youth. And what if you test and you find yourself as a victim or something? It doesn't mean you're going to die or something once you follow the medications and all of that. But then there should be more of education. Like Nana said, it's sad that people use this condom not because they want to prevent HIV, but because they want to prevent pregnancy, which is very bad. And then this number is overwhelming. And then these people affected are the youth, the future of this country, the future leaders. And so, it's high time we prioritize this thing and ensure that we educate the youth so they will abstain from it.
Yeah, adding to that, I also think this is an appeal to our influencers out there that they can actually partner with, some of these organizations. I think the one I remember is the Ghana AIDS Commission, all these health organizations that try to do some sort of awareness. It does not need to be a paid gig. This is for, everybody. They can use their platforms, those who have the very high platforms, like a lot of numbers. I remember seeing one Nigerian influencer. She came out to talk about disability and how it's inaccessible in Nigeria. And, we have persons with disabilities in our country, and we don't make any provisions for them to also have equal access to the resources. And that was very, very profound because her page is known for something else. But for her to come out and do this, you see that a lot of people were also rallying to start talking about it. So I think our influencers, this is another way, aside gaining the views and likes too, this is also a way to help us, propagate that agenda. We used to have it on TV, like you were saying, the songs and the pamphlets being shared all around. Now it's social media. Our dear influencers can also help to spread the message across. Now,
not even catch you, like with our celebrities.
Yes,
like,
the celebrities too.
Shatawale, it should be something that we should think of. Like this breast cancer awareness month, the way we invest money, we invest time and all that, we should also talk about HIV/AIDS as much as possible. And then look as if these days we don't hear about the breast cancer awareness anymore. We are still in October and it still continues.
Yes, so that's one, to get tested, get checked, and also seek treatment, early detection, is the one that saves the lives most. So now there's a report here from the Ghana National Fire Service about the fire we mentioned that seemed to occur about 2 hours ago. And it says here, a major commercial fire involving some shops broke out at Kantamanto Tazani Lane near EcoBank in the early hours of Tuesday, 21st October 2025. The Ghana National Fire Service received a distress call at 01:31 hours, so that's probably 1:30 a.m. And the first fire appliance arrived at the scene at 1:42. Now, in total, 7 fire engines and a turntable ladder were mobilized from Circle Industrial Area, Accra Regional Headquarters, Medina, Legon Fire Stations, and 2 appliances from the national headquarters to battle the blaze. Now, in the fire, which affected some commercial structures, the fire was confined at 4:49 after intensive firefighting efforts. The acting chief fire officer, Daniela Mausi Into Sapong, is currently at the scene to assess the situation and obtain first-hand information on the incident. The director of operations, the Greater Accra Regional Commander, and the senior officers are also on site providing operational support. Rigorous firefighting operations are underway to bring the situation completely under control. No injuries have been reported at this stage. More details will come later. And we may get the chance to speak to the head of public relations at the Ghana National Fire Service, who is the Divisional Officer Grade 2, Desmond Aka. So when we are able to get him, we will have a conversation with him and then ask for a few more details. Now, moving on, I have how many? 2 Galamsey stories. So I'm going to put them together. Then we discuss. So the first one is about the post-Namos raid. No, okay, there are three Galamsey stories actually. So the first one is the anti-Galamsey team storms Nyung. I'm not very sure of the pronunciation. Nyung South Forest. He also and seizes about 7 excavators, water pumps, and a gun. Then post-Namos raid review Achim Wenchi River flowing into the Birim River. Then we also have another story that says the police officer feared dead after jumping into a Galamsey pit to arrest a miner.
So the place that you were mentioning is Baireja.
So which one is the new?
It's Baireja. I'm sure probably it's maybe autocorrect or something, but it's Baireja. That's the name of the place that.
Right.
So this particular raid was on. And in that particular raid, they seized well over 6 excavators, or 4 excavators, I should say, and 6 people were arrested, including one person being a Chinese national. Now, the menace of these people in our forests has to be looked at
I may have
again.
to cut you. We have the head of public relations of the Ghana National Fire Service on the line. He's in the person of the Divisional Officer Grade 2, Desmond Aka. Hello, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, my sister.
I hope you are well, please.
Oh, by God's grace, we are doing well.
Right. So the fire outbreak, has there been any information as to what caused it?
Well, let me say a very good morning to your cherished viewers. Currently, one of our men has suffered from smoke inhalation and has been taken to the hospital. we understand that he is recovering, and very soon he will get back on his feet. It's quite unfortunate that we had to respond to this quite devastating fire based on at 1:31. And we have been able to marshal 9 fire appliances, including 4 water tankers and then a TL, a turntable ladder, which has really helped us to confine the fire to the origin of the fire, which happens to be a warehouse along the bank road closer to Cantamanto, which is popularly known as the Tarzan Lane. The fire currently has been confined. The acting chief officer is currently at the scene to assess the situation, and then also to give moral support to the firefighters who have battled the blaze. Since early morning today, investigators are also on the ground to actually get to determine the cause of this particular fire. But currently, we are almost at the verge of bringing the situation under control. So that is the situation on the ground now.
All right. So, we had the same issue a few months back. Is it the same place or is it in a similar area?
Yes, it's not the same place. This is Marjorie family. This is it involves some. This is no wooden structure. Just that you would also agree with me that being beneath the structures, that is the scientific block structures, you would find people having done some extension with wooden structures and all that. So the fire has destroyed quite a number of stores or shops, and we would confine it from further spread. And that is a plan on our firefighters who are part of the place. The fire plans got there, we could access any hydrant within this. That is how Camper mobilized 8 other engines to augment those fires. So the place is quite different. The usual second-hand building place, which is predominantly made up of wooden structures. These are concrete structures. About 4 so plus some bed wooden structures that has been
All right. So what are some of the measures that the Ghana National Fire Service is taking to prevent future fires at these high-risk commercial areas like Cantamanto?
Well, so this particular fire started from a warehouse beneath, I think, about 3-story structure. So would work.
Hello?
Observe.
Yes.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, please.
All right. So we are in talks with the shop owners, particularly those who are who have warehouses, to keep to the protocols such as good housekeeping, how to even stockpile their wares in such a way that there will be adequate ventilation, and then also not to pack their wares to the rooftop or the ceiling. Ensure that build-up is also dealt with. So in we will continue to engage these shop owners to be able to uphold the safety protocols regarding stocking their wares in such ways.
Okay, so how are the affected traders going to be supported, especially when it comes to recovering their losses that they made in the fire?
Well, those whose shops were not affected, they have been allowed to salvage their wares. But unfortunately, those who have suffered loss, we've kind of talked to them to exercise restraint whilst we finally bring the situation under full control, so that if there is anything they could salvage, they could also do so.
Right. So was there any challenge you faced, like accessing the place and all of that? What are some of the challenges you faced today?
Well, number one challenge is the ineffective hydrants within that space, particular space. But we were able to surmount it with the mobilization of 9 fire engines. And then the second one has to do with access to the affected shops. Most of the shops were locked under heavy padlocks. To forcefully and be able to get access to the burning substances to extinguish them. And that took a bit of time. And that is how come we are seeing the kind of damage that we are seeing so far. But we were also able to overcome that when we eventually had access, and then we prevented further spread. So in no time, we should be able to bring the situation under control and then deal with it finally.
Right. So I remember the last fire outbreak that happened in Kantamanto. I think when we had you here on the show and we spoke about help rebuilding or drawing some sort of plan as to how to rebuild the place. Would something like this also be undertaken for this affected area?
Yes, it will also not be a bad idea if the whole place is also reconstructed into a modern edifice where all the safety protocols also be taken into consideration. If it is done, then it means that even if there is fire, the spread wouldn't be that much as we are seeing now. And then also we wouldn't have much of difficulty assessing the place to do effective fire extinguishment.
Right. Thank you so much. We hope to hear more about the incident later in the day, and we hope that you have a good day as well.
My pleasure.
Right. So that was the Divisional Officer Grade 2, Mr. Desmond Aka. He's the head of the public relations at the Ghana National Fire Service, and you heard him. So, yeah, they are still going to find out what exactly is the cause, and yes, they've been able to get the fire also under control at the moment, and it is not the same place as the last place that there was a fire outbreak at, some months back. This is a different place also in the enclave there. So, yes, back to the Galamsey story.
Before we go on the Galamsey story, just because we talked about this one, I want to touch on what Desmond Aka mentioned. Now, a lot of the time, we didn't pay attention to the response time. Now, this is Kantamanto, and everyone knows how difficult it is to access Kantamanto, especially when the shops are open. But this time around, in the space of 9 minutes, after a distress call was placed, they were able to get there. And the Ghana National Fire Service does not get the flowers that they do deserve in cases like this. Now, if you listen carefully, they've been able to mobilize well over 4 tankers.
Yeah, I think about 9.
They've been able to mobilize 9 fire equipment, but then as included in there are 4 tankers. Now, we all know the open secret that these National Fire Service, these institutions, some of these public service institutions are not equipped at best. However, looking at with what they have, at 1:31 a.m. that they were called, for them to get there at the time that they got there, then I think they have to get their flowers. And also being able to contain the fire, for it not to spread, knowing that EcoBank, Accra EcoBank, it's just close by. And for they doing this particular thing, then I must say they have done a very good job. And kudos to Ghana National Fire Service. When you do things like this and we see it, we commend you, and well done.
All right, thank you so much for that too. Yes, the Ghana National Fire Service is doing well. I mean, considering we've had talks with them, over the show in the last year, and yes, the response time is improving as time goes on as well. And if they were able to mobilize their equipment, yes, as it said here in the report, they got equipment from Circle Industrial Area, Accra Regional Headquarters, Medina, Legon Fire Stations, and even 2 more appliances from the national headquarters. So you can see that they were able to, make the calls, get the interconnectivities between these stations to get appliances. So that's also, yes, as you said, something that we need to commend them for. Kudos to the Ghana National Fire Service.
Not also forgetting about the causes of these fires. Like you rightly said, I can't even count the number of times we've had this officer on this show, all about fire outbreak. Every day we face the same issue.
The last major one was Latabi Okoshi.
I mean, what happens to all the safety protocols, the recommendations, the education that we... I mean, it's high time we prioritize some of these things and learn to have, long-term, solutions rather than short-term ones. So my question always remains the same. So after this rescue, what happens? The people will go back there, rebuild, and continue with whatever they were doing that caused the fire. And then the next day, we will hear another fire outbreak, and the Ghana National Fire Service would have to be there. Remember, he said that one of their men he has been taken to the hospital.
Some people are suffering from the smoke inhalation.
It's high time we also change our minds, our attitude. The reset should begin with us as well. We can't continue having this every blessed day fire outbreak here, and then at the end of the day, the report is either
Usually,
there was electrical
fault.
When are we going to learn?
So with every fire outbreak that happens on a higher profile, committees of inquiry are set to actually go into it to find out the root cause. Now, most of the time, it's either the equipment that they are using for their metering and then their cabling and power and all that are not up to the required standard. However, after these reports are submitted, the people that perpetrate these crimes still go scot-free, and we have government compensating people for their losses. Once again, time and time again, we see this happening. However, and people still walk and go scot-free. So it looks as though someone may actually stand and use it for their own personal agenda. If I should actually start a fire at Cantamanto, they'll come and remodel the place for me. I'll be compensated for the loss that I've also incurred. So why don't I maybe put my goods aside, majority of my goods aside, and start something that I can be compensated for? That is where we might likely reach if we do not start punishing. Allegation. No, that's where I'm just saying that's where we are likely going to reach if you do not start punishing the actual perpetrators of these things. If you know that there's a standard or there's a grade of wire mesh that you're supposed to use for cabling, for power transfer, if you know where your meter is, it's not supposed to be close to where materials are or flammable liquid or anything, then you don't do it and then there's a fire outbreak, then you are going to be held responsible for it. Either your shop is taken away from Kandamanto because you are not adhering to safety protocols, but something has to be done to those who are behind these fires. Not that they are intentionally doing it, but with every accident, there is a cause. The fact that you drank and you drove and then you accidentally hit someone doesn't mean you should walk freely. Although it's an accident, the perpetrators should be called to book.
And that comes also to mind about the committees being set up. I think we have a story that comes with setting up a committee to review something. Most of the times, we set up committees when incidents like this happen, but they don't report to us anything. We don't know what happens after the, committee set up. We are kept in the dark. We don't know what actually happens. We have the laws beautifully sitting on papers, but how to enforce them, we don't know how to enforce them. And so going forward, all the committees that will be set up to go into some sort of findings and all that, we should be able to hold them accountable. They should make the findings publicly. And then, like Nana rightly said, if there are prosecutions, we should see them so that it will serve as deterrent. Because we can't continue like this as a country. And we expect, progress and all that.
Right. So moving forward to the Galamsey stories. So yes, the anti-Galamsey teams storms there. So here it's New South Forest, but you mentioned something. Baireja Forest, and then we also have they seized 7 excavators, water pumps, and a gun. Then post-Namos raid view. So Achim Wenchi River was flowing into the Birim. It looked much clearer.
Finally.
Yes.
Finally.
But then there were comments that as much as it looks clearer doesn't mean that it is devoid of the heavy metal poisoning too. Then we also have a police officer dead after jumping into a Galamsey pit to arrest a minor. Then I also saw a video of somebody was taking a video of an excavator that was sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Is it drowned? Sinking into the mud. And he said his colleague was in the excavator and is basically a goner at this point. And he was even contemplating whether to continue this job or not. And yes, these are some of the stories relating to Galamsey for today. So, yes, the conversation. So that's the excavator that was sinking into the mud, the previous video. And I think we have, does it have sound? If we can play it.
Koko, adwuma ye ni o. Ntumi se minya yo, se men gusu yo. Ye de ato ye nyonko sisi ye de ato no. Machine, o de chefo mo wa uko. Koko.
So we also have the issue of the police officer that jumped into the Galamsey pit to arrest somebody, and it took about 3 hours. They were searching for the bodies, but they couldn't recover the body. And apparently, the police officer too doesn't know how to swim. And I saw comments on that story that the people who are sent on ground to, the task force should be given some sort of insurance because they might lose their lives, and this is a clear example. But then also, I think we should also exercise some discretion. I mean, you're arresting somebody, you can't swim, and you jump.
I mean, these are reports, and we might not know what actually happened. But then, this we should be asking ourselves, this has been happening. This is very sad. I mean, trying to avoid what actually become a thorn in our flesh and you lose your life. That is so sad. But the question is that after every raid, what measures do we put in place to ensure that these miners does not return? And then history has shown that after every raid, when excavators, water pumps are being seized, after some time, it finds its way back to the site again. What is actually happening? It is high time we look for long-term solutions rather than short-term solutions. So what happens after every raid?
They should bring the financiers to book.
Exactly. So these people who are there to just find something for ends, and you just go there, you arrest them, you seize these excavators. What happens again? What next?
So talking about these excavators, if you want to actually tackle them, then we have to tackle them to its roots. And where it's the root of all excavators? The Temaport. The Temaport or the Takrade ports. Now, when these excavators come into the country, what then do we do to them? Let there be a mandated law that says that all excavators should be tracked. If they are tracked, you can even use this as a basis to see their economic input or output, and then you see, because these are things that are used or being taken into the forest. And once you see that, to perpetrate some of these things, we've seen that one of them even sank as a result. Now, this policeman as well, also going without the protective gear, has to also be questioned as well. But that's it, by the way. Tracking of the excavators. If the excavators are tracked, then we will know that this particular excavator is from Susu and Su Enterprise, and it is working on this construction site. It is working, and excavators are not being used for mining. Now, there's an allegation. I don't know whether it's alleged or it's actually true or there's any facts based on this. Now, Dennis Miracles Abuaji came on Newsfile and mentioned that 200 excavators are being brought into the country daily. 200 excavators are being brought into the country daily. Now, out of these 200, how many of them are going into real estate construction? How many of them are going into illegal mining?
Or even road construction.
Or road construction. So now, if we are seeing this, the extent of which this is happening, 200 excavators daily, that means in a week, Monday to Friday, we'll have 1,000 excavators into this country. Look at the size of our forests. And look at the damage that if these excavators, even if half of them should enter our forests, what they will do. Now, we cleared 4 of them, and 7 at the other side. And we've seen rivers flowing into other rivers. Now, what do we then do if these are brought back into our forest? So if we can track all excavators, there can be a governmental policy to track all excavators. Once your tracker goes off, or once the tracker is deactivated, then we find out from the company, or we sanction the company that came to clear the excavator from the port. So let's tackle this from source, because these things are not perpetuated on hindsight. If you are doing gold panning, you are using just your hand and then this thing and panning gold along riverbanks and all that. The extent to of the damage will not be like those who are actually desilting the river beds and all that and mining out of them. So it's something that we have to carefully look at.
That brings to mind, when we started the fight against Galamsey, if I can remember the number of excavators that we've seized, if it is very true that these days we don't, import excavators into this country, and then looking at the number of excavators we've seized during this fight, then I don't think some were bent and all that. So I don't think we should even have some excavators in our forest and water bodies to be even mining.
200 are brought in the country daily.
This is actually
that's
sad.
According to Dennis Maracos Abuaji. I know there might be some propaganda or some because he's politically inclined affiliation to that particular notion, but should there be any element of truth in that, then it's really alarming for us. We have to really think about it.
And then this even forest destruction affects our climate. The climate changes. We've destroyed all our forests.
No, it is when the sun shines, don't you feel it?
Early in the morning, like.
And I don't want to say I like the fact that the video, the one with the guy contemplating the job, I think we need to see more of what's happening there from their perspectives as well. I think it can be a way to, get them to not be swayed by any financiers, promising them money, because even the doctors, right, when they get to see patients die and look at the kind of, when you speak with them, you never get used to it. Now, imagine working in these fields and your colleague has just sunk and has been, swallowed by the loose soil. So at this point, we can't even call it quicksand, If this has happened to you and now your boss says, whatever he was looking for, follow him and go and find it. Some amount of self-preservation should be at work within you to tell you that my life may not be worth the money. So I think, in a way, I don't know how I'm going to say we should encourage more videos or people documenting the kind of work they do there. We can flip this around. Do you want to end up like your partner who is in the excavator dying, whatever fumes, if it explodes?
These people, it's not video that will deter them because they've seen their mates die before their eyes.
In the video.
They still go the following day. This guy that talked about it in the video, tomorrow you go.
You go.
But it's not video that deters them.
It's also
I'm talking about appealing to their
emotions.
Yeah,
these people
self-preservation.
You've not heard about these Galamsey stories. Some of them intentionally kill and people sprinkle blood with the notion that it's going to attract more gold. So these people.
death wouldn't serve as a deterrent. But it all boils down to the fact that employment. Employment is the thing. What other alternative we have for these young people? We are announcing that they should desist from polluting our water bodies. When you go to the rural areas, job is very scarce there, and that is the more reason why most of these youths are traveling to the urban areas. So what alternative are we giving them? Then if we are asking them to stop Galamsey, what other means are we giving them to ensure that they also get something to eat, to ensure that they're able to take care of their families and all that?
Right. When you mentioned the job creation in the rural areas, it brought my mind back to the transportation issue we're talking about. If we had good enough roads, if our road network was very good, especially to the rural areas, a lot of these youth would probably be able to venture into agriculture, knowing that transporting their goods to wherever would not incur
a railway
so
substation,
many
and then
losses
they bring
for
it
them.
to Accra.
Yes, because I think we were here when we saw that a truckload of plantain, had just flipped over, and how much of this is even going to be salvageable? It's a lot of things interconnected problems that we have here. So, but then moving forward to the last two trends, we have some scenes from the 40-day observance of our very own Emeritus Professor Apostle Kojo Safo, and we have some, footage there. If we can get the images and take a look. So while that's being prepared, Ghana has signed. Okay, yes, let's take a look. So that's Aja Safo, his daughter. Yes, so some salutations from other well-wishers and family, I think.
Remember, looking at this, looking at Ajwasafu, remember there's another picture of there's Ajwasafu and her sister. Remember, they really look alike. No wonder there was an allegation that another represented the other in Parliament. But that's notwithstanding. Emeritus Professor Apostle Kojo Safo is someone who has greatly impacted the lives of many in the country. When you look at what he's done in the automobile industry in Ghana, serving as a beacon of hope for people who actually want to start producing in Ghana. A lot of people did not actually believe that it's even going to be a reality or could have even been a reality.
Yeah.
But this man stood out of nothing. He brought these things up. And looking at his church, the following, and all that he's established, he's truly someone who inspires a lot of people in the country. And he is gone, but his memory will forever remain in the hearts and the minds of a lot of us forever.
Right. A week ago, when we were having the lifestyle segment, we had guests who were into the technical and vocational skills training, mechanical engineering. And one of the guests was actually his student. And yes, he mentioned it on the show. And he came here to encourage the, venturing into the technical skills, or vocational skills practicing as well. So the last one here I have, before we go to the main online story, is Ghana signs a memorandum of understanding with Grenada to recruit Ghanaian nurses to work in Grenada. And I think this is linked to the issue we spoke about last week about the fact that we need to improve our healthcare here before we export our officers, healthcare or professionals, because there are places that don't have access to a single doctor, and you're sending them to another country. And I saw a post, I think a comment on the story. Somebody said, you want to send, I don't know how true it is, but they were saying something like, you want to send our nurses to another third world country where they are going to suffer again because you cannot even pay them here. And I think it's not getting a lot of, positive reactions from the public.
I mean, but then in as much as there is no, like you rightly said in your words, that it's not getting a positive reaction from the public, in some form it is going to be like a source of employment for these nurses who have been in the house for a number of years. And then when you take a look at Grenada and Ghana, actually have a whole lot in common. I would like to touch on one. Their leading, party is also NDC. National Democratic Congress. Like Ghana, we have NDC. And then we have a whole lot in common. When the Prime Minister came in Ghana, when he came to Ghana, he was talking about the fact that he traces his ancestral roots to Ghana and all of that. But then, fast forward on this issue, sometimes I think about certain things. We can't just keep on training these people with the taxpayers' money and at the end of the day, we tend to export them. Then this exportation, if proper measures are being put in place, it is going to have a long-lasting, positive impact on us as Ghanaians. If the fact is that we have a whole number of trained nurses here and we can't accommodate them and we want to export them, with some form of, benefits, some training, or giving them the exposure or something of that kind. That is fine. I mean, talking about they going outside, once they go outside, they would want to support their families down here. And so that's where remittances come in. Right now, there's a percentage. And according to reports, Ghana have been, gaining about 4 point something billion from remittances and all of that. And so it also boils down to the fact that most of our villages in Ghana do not have access to nurses and all that. And so raising the flag of Ghana high at something commendable. But then if this is going to be something we will all welcome, then it means that the kind of service the Ghanaian is going to, enjoy from these health workers that are going to be exported to these countries, then it means that somebody in the village at Bunkrugu Yoyo, somewhere in Kabawe, somewhere in Badu, the patient should also enjoy that same level of treatment. Once that happens, then there wouldn't be any, problem exporting them, because it's going to be a source of, employment for them, and then remittances as well. And then we're going to have this bilateral relationship and all that. But then, as we speak now, our schools do not even have well-equipped, most of our schools do not even have well-equipped, sick bays and all that, and nurses that would attend to these cases.
Even the major hospitals are alleged to be understaffed most of the time. So this thing needs to be looked at again. Now, coming to your newspapers quickly, then we wrap up. What do you have for us on your digitalized newspapers?
I think, Peter, would you want to go first, or you give me the shot?
Let me go first. So okay. I have with me the graphic business, and on the front page, you have access to capital, major hurdle for oil producers. That is a report from Deloitte report. Sorry. And then we have BOG to boost GES with more bank listing. And then we have football's biggest earners, Ronaldo leads pack with $280 million. Then we also have virtual currency waves. BOG opens door to crypto. So we have 3.4 million people already in digital currency trading in Ghana.
Right.
And then, as we speak, cryptocurrency trading is kind of illegal in Ghana.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
it's not illegal per se, but it's not regulated. If you can say it like that, there are not regulations surrounding it. So you can't be arrested for trading in cryptocurrency, but you cannot be defended for doing that as well.
Okay.
So it's unregulated at the moment, and there's a big lacuna in and around its trading, because I believe that we also have kept long. The BOG has kept very long in sort of bringing out implementation strategies to make sure that this becomes something of a norm, because global currencies are trading, and then we are left behind. So it's something that we have to really look at and then catch up. Otherwise, we'll pass by like the Industrial Revolution, and then we'll be caught up once again behind.
And about 17% of the youth are already into this cryptocurrency.
Yes.
So it's high time we leverage on it.
The figures are alarming. 3.4 million people already trading cryptocurrency in Ghana. So you just have to find a regulation around it. And what I have is the daily graphic. And then on the front page, it has red water forest reserves under siege. Illegal miners and sand winners, herdsmen are causing havoc. This is the main story behind it. Also, we have the fact that private eye care facilities threaten to suspend services. This is an interesting one. Private eye care facilities are threatening to suspend their services. OSP also amends charge sheets of Mustafa Hamid and 9 others. So Mustafa Hamid and the other people, it's amended the charge sheet, added some extra charges to it as well. Not that it has removed some, the OSP. This one says the Education Minister orders CSSPS review.
Yes, that's the story I have here.
That's the one of the main issues that are making rounds on the front page of the daily graphic.
Okay, so with the online story I have here, quickly before we wrap up, this one we may not get to touch on it. This one says it's about the computerized school selection placement system, and it says here that it's not working well, and I'll review it. That is by the Education Minister. So Ghana's Minister for Education, Haruna Idrisu, has announced a comprehensive review of the computerized school selection placement system to ensure transparency, efficiency, and fairness in placing students into second cycle institutions. Key aspects of the review includes a team that will be constituted to undertake the review, engaging key stakeholders, including education managers, parents, and students. He said the review aims to improve the placement system's transparency, efficiency, fairness, serving the best interests of Ghanaian children. He also mentioned that the review process will involve consultations with various stakeholders to ensure the system meets the needs of all parties involved. The minister's announcement follows a working visit to the Presbyterian Boys Senior High School in Accra, where he commended the staff for their dedication and reaffirmed the ministry's commitment to improving educational infrastructure, teaching resources, and administrative systems for equitable access to quality education. So that's the story on the placement system. I mean, we've heard a lot about the fact that plenty parents and students or their wards were not exactly happy with the placings.
This is not the first time calling for review. In 2020, 2022, 2023, there was a review. Now, fast forward, this CSSPS has been in existence since 2005. Like, we have like two decades now, and still, we still have problems with it. And then, like I said earlier, in 2020, there was a committee set up to review 2023, 2024, and now 2025. After every review, we don't hear anything. The problem still remains the same. We understand that this system is automated and that we don't need human to operate it. But we understand that it also works with algorithm, if I'm correct. And then these are set of rules that tells the computer what to do. And that every candidate is given the opportunity to select say schools. After selecting the say schools, after the results, WAEC then subjects the selections, the results, and everything to the system to do the placement. But then there's been this issue that there's no fairness, there's no transparency. So my issue right now is that are we still using the same algorithm since its inception in 2005, or there's been changes? And then we want to know the rules, how this placement system is being done, and the cutoff point and all that, because parents are confused, families are confused, teachers are confused, schools are overstretched and all that. Meanwhile, we say this is automated and we don't have any human hand in it. But here lies the case. We are talking about some form of, protocols and all that. And so I am praying that this committee that the education minister wants to set up, he will set it up, they will look for their findings and come out with the recommendation, and we ensure that they implement them to avoid some of these things happening next year.
All right.
So I'll just touch on it just before we go. And once again, the school selection placement system, there was a thorough review of it some years in 2003, 2004. And then the findings that came across all the average times that they've done was that over 95% of people that actually go on the school selection placements do get placed. They receive placement. However, over 17 to 24% of the people get placed in wrong schools. For instance, schools that I don't choose, then you place me in there. For instance, a boy being placed in a girls' school. For instance, someone who is not visually impaired being placed in the school of the blind. So these are some of the issues that come up, that come to that. Now, a second look was given to it that the algorithm needs to be a lot more advanced. And other people are even calling for the removal or the stopping or the abrupt disuse of the computerized system. And then we'll go back to how we're formally doing it. Once you are done, you take your form and then you give it to the school that you want to actually go. They review, see your grades, when your grades come, and then the school selects the best. When you're done, if you are not placed, you either write again because there's a threshold on it. Initially, people were not getting schools after getting aggregate 30.
Yeah.
But right now, people get schools when they even get worst grade standards. So definitely there are reforms needed. And once again, development must come at a cost of some few people who will not be happy about it.
Right. So I think the review is necessary, but it's mainly about improving the infrastructure of all the schools so we don't have category A and B and whatnot. If all the schools are at optimal level with resources and infrastructure, we won't be having some of the issues we face. That being said, we've had a lengthy conversation today, and this brings us to the end of the online and newspaper print review with my co-host here. Thank you all so much, the cherished viewers who called to share their thoughts and opinions as well. Thank you so much for your contributions. Thank you again, gentlemen. And next is Sports with Benedict Nketiah-Kwate. You're welcome back to the Koko Digest Morning Show. And if you're just tuning in, it's time for sports. And I have Benedict Nketiah-Kwarteng here with me to take us through the sports highlights. And I don't know if you remember, but Peter was saying something about Manchester United. So yes, Benedict will be giving us details on that shortly. Hi, Benedict.
Hello, Yaya.
Good morning.
Good morning. You're looking good this morning.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm representing Man U.
Okay, I understand.
Okay. Also in Manchester. Oh,
Yes.
That's a
yes,
jersey.
Today I'm celebrating Manchester United for
okay.
their glorious victory over the weekend. Yes. So Liverpool lost to Manchester United over the weekend, and then it's sad because this is their fourth loss. That is Liverpool. Their fourth loss consecutively throughout. And I mean, we know the team was doing very well, but unfortunately for them, they are losing. Anslot and his team, they are messing up. They lost against Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace was the first.
Okay.
And they lost in the Champions League against Galatasaray, and then to Chelsea, and now to Manchester United. It will go on.
No,
I want them to
give
know
them
that,
some hope.
No, I want them to know. I want Liverpool fans to know that this is only the beginning. You are going to keep on losing. I mean, I told you that your team is not really that good. But I mean, because you won the league last season, you think you're over there. We shall see.
Oh,
Anyway,
you win some, you lose some, isn't it?
well, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Let me go straight to our stories for today. So we are coming home over the weekend. There was a CAF Confederation Cup that was WAC standing against the 10-man Asante Kotoko in Accra. So over the weekend, with that African team, yes, we played the CAF Confederation Cup. So with that won against the 10-man Asante Kotoko, 1-0 at the Accra Sports Stadium. This was a competition for the CAF Confederation Cup, where without from Tunisia traveled all the way to Ghana to play away against Asante Kotoko. It was a thrilling game, I must confess. I was there personally. I watched the game. It was a very interesting match. Asante Kotoko looked very formidable. It was a very formidable team. I think they started with the formation. Karen Visito started with the formation 4-2-3-1 in the beginning, and then I mean the game was thrilling. I think the first half ended 0-goalless, 0-0. They were playing very well until a goal came in. I think the first 2 minutes when the second half began, there was a goal, and then I think we have the highlights. So my producer will just put it on our screen so that we can all enjoy it. Those of us who couldn't watch or who weren't at the stadium, you can just watch the highlights of the game. it is also to encourage us out there. If these young lads can do it, they cycle for 2 hours just to go and watch football. And those of us who have the means to go and support our local clubs around us, I think we should actually invest in it, because this is what we have. This is what we can do to support what we have and all that. Especially being over the weekend when Asante Kotoko played WAC, the spectators were few. I don't know whether it was because it wasn't in Kumasi, it was in Accra or not. But then Kotoko has supporters in Accra here. They could have also moved to the stadium to go and support them. So I want to encourage our supporters out there to also support our games, because this is what we have. They really move on to the international sports news. That is, first of all, we have Morocco. That's FIFA Under-20 World Cup. Morocco crowned world champions of the FIFA Under-20 World Cup. That was over the weekend. So Morocco played against Argentina, the 6-time winners of the Under-20 World Cup, FIFA Under-20 World Cup. If I have to cast our minds back, Ghana won this same tournament in 2009, where we won this same trophy with the likes of the DIU and then Co. It was a very exciting day for Ghanaians, because we were the first African team to win this trophy. And then of course Morocco, they've also, they are the second African team to do it, but then they did it in a very stylish way, winning 2-0 against the host. The defending champions, not the right defending champions, but then they've won it for 6 times. So you can tell that they are really good. They know what they are doing and all that. Let me just go through the track record of the Morocco and the 20 team. In 2023. They played the Under-17 tournament, AFCON Under-17 tournament, and they placed second. And then in 2023, again, they played Under-23 AFCON, they placed first. On Olympics 2024, they placed third. The AFCON Under-17, they placed first. And then AFCON Under-20, they placed second. So this was coming up. I mean, you can tell from their performances over the past years that these boys were really determined to win something for their country, and then of course they were rewarded by the 20 World Cup competition. We have the highlights, so we'll put it on the screen right now, and so that our viewers can also enjoy the game.
Sabiri's in here, just doesn't carry enough the lob, and they are going to review. Sabiri certainly thought he was fouled.
So, free kick and yellow card.
It's going to be Sabiri! Lift off for Morocco. Well, it was so well hit, it might as well just have been a penalty. Otman Mama stands it up brilliantly, 2-0. Oh, what an evening this could be for Morocco, as Sabiri doubles Morocco's lead. And they're in behind here. It's a superb pass. Great chance, and it's wide. Oh, Silvetti can't hit the target. Esadak finds Mama, who's in for 3. No! Great defending from Villalba, and it stays 2-0.
Yes, the FIFA Under-20 World Cup winners. So, yeah, I mean.
So I'm now learning more about football. I'm seeing World Cup. Has the World Cup tournament started, or this is something different?
Okay, so this is a World Cup competition.
Okay.
So World Cup right now in football we have age limits for the sports that goes on.
Okay.
So the World Cup that you know of, that I think I have an idea what you are thinking of, is what has to do with the senior players.
Okay.
So we have a senior team that will play for the World Cup. That is next year, God willing. That is Mexico, Canada,
And
USA.
US, yeah.
That's where the senior boys will play.
Okay.
But this is for under 20s. So all those under 20 years, they also compete on the world stage.
Okay.
So all over Ghana was involved. Countries.
So where is Ghana in this one?
Oh, we
lost.
We fell off. We fell off at an early stage. But then I think this has to do with a lot of preparations. I must confess, Morocco. I listed their with their achievements over the years, and you can tell that the boys have really prepared for this tournament. They were really ready for this tournament. Argentina is a very strong team, a very formidable team. They won all their games to get here.
Right.
Of course, Morocco also won their games to get here, but Argentina has won the trophy 6 times. Morocco they haven't won it before, so this was their first finals, and then they were able to beat the team that has won it the most to win a trophy. So you can tell that, I mean, this a lot had to go in to get to where they've got it to.
Right.
So I mean, let's congratulate Morocco because they've done so well. The young lions of Morocco, they've done so well to get to where they've got it to.
Right.
Yes.
So ours is the Black Starlets, or?
Yes, the Black Starlets.
They
yes.
didn't.
So we have Black Stars, we have Black
So
Starlets.
Black Stars are starting to do well. So we are hoping Starlets to pick up.
Oh, the Starlets is the team that competed in this under 20.
Okay.
The Stars are the older
Yeah,
men.
and I mean they're still in the tournament as we speak,
No,
or
the
the
tournament is done.
finals.
Yes.
No, I'm talking about the World Cup
grown-ups?
itself. Yes,
Oh, yeah,
the seniors.
it's
Ghana
yet
is
to
still
begin.
there. Yes,
It's yet
it's
to
still
start.
playing, right?
No, it's yet to start.
Okay.
What we're playing for the World Cup was qualifiers.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Ghana is still in the qualifiers, but
We've
for the
qualified.
younger ones, they are not.
No, wait, let me explain. Ghana has already qualified for the World Cup. The grown-ups, we've qualified for the World Cup. Okay, this was just the youngsters. And they are done. The final was played. So that is done. That is over. Now what we have to focus on is the World Cup that is coming up next year.
Right. Okay.
All right. So let me take you to the last story of the day. That is Nottingham Forest in advanced talks to appoint manager Dyke. So Sean Dyke, that was a former coach, a former manager of Everton. This man is known for his very defensive play. He had a very tactical team with Everton, and then of course for some reason, one way or the other, he was laid off. And then right now, Nottingham Forest is looking forward to sign him because they've lost for like the past 4 games. They've been losing, and then over their last defeat by Chelsea, the manager was sacked. That's Postecoglou. He was sacked, and then right now they are hoping to sign Sean Dyke as their new manager. And I think Sean Dyke he will go a long way with Nottingham Forest because with the team that Nottingham Forest they have, you can tell that this man's tactics and then his ideology of football will actually help Nottingham Forest very well. There were a lot other coaches, other managers who were also on the lead to joining Nottingham Forest. We had the likes of Nuno Espirito Santo, who still has who is still also available. We have Silva. Silva is actually coaching Fulham. He can't be laid off unless some money is involved. So I think in the long run, Sean Dyke is the best option for Nottingham Forest. I think that is it. That's it for the sports update segment. We have Champions League games coming up. Today we have some matches coming up. So I will urge viewers to also tune in to Clock Sports. We'll discuss more on the Champions League game that is tomorrow, God willing.
Is Manchester playing?
I mean, Barcelona is playing today. Let me say, give a big shout out to Manchester is not part of the teams that are playing for Champions League. Unfortunately, are not part.
What about Chelsea?
Chelsea is part. Chelsea is playing today. Some of the big teams are playing today. Atletico Madrid is playing today against Arsenal. We have Barcelona playing against Olympiacos, sorry.
Okay.
Yes, we have some big games coming up. So hopefully, investors, watch out. More of the games are going to be 2 goals and above. So I'm just giving you a hint. Invest
risk analyst.
Yes, yes. So that is it for the sports update segment. As usual, my name is Benedict, and thank you, Yara, for having me here.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for the education. Every time I come here, I come and learn something small about football. Up next is the business segment with Peter Insia. Please do stay tuned.
Hello, good morning, and many thanks for joining me on the Business Update segment on the Koko Digest Morning Show. And as usual, on this segment, we provide you with the latest in the world of business, expert analysis, and market trends that will impact your business and investment decisions. My name is Peter Insia, and now to our stories. The IMF Executive Board is expected to meet in early December 2025 to review Ghana's fifth program review following the staff-level agreement reached in October. The delay allows time for finalizing the staff report, with the key pending document being the government audit report on arrears expected this week. This report will be reviewed by various IMF departments before reaching IMF management and being scheduled for board consideration. If approved, Ghana could receive around $380 million from the IMF by mid-December. Sources suggest approval is likely due to Ghana's strong performance. Beyond the disbursement, the decision would signal to investors and donors Ghana's commitment to fiscal discipline and the IMF program. Although concerns remain about post-program spending after May 2026, officials stress ongoing commitment to sound economic management. To reinforce confidence, Ghana may adopt an IMF policy instrument to assure markets of continued fiscal responsibility without entering a full program. Sources suggest approval is likely due to Ghana's strong performance. Beyond the disbursement, the decision would signal to investors and donors Ghana's commitment. Away from that story, several business associations in Ghana, including Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, FABAC, the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, and the Ghana Plastic Manufacturers Association have strongly criticized Public Utilities Regulatory Commission's proposed electricity tariff hike for next year. In a joint statement, they described the current pricing regime as anti-business and harmful to economic growth. The groups argue that constant tariff increases are crippling local industries, discouraging investment and pushing businesses to close or reduce operations. They claim the system punishes efficient and law-abiding businesses while enabling corruption and mismanagement within the power sector. FABAC warned that high tariffs are encouraging illegal connections as businesses seek relief from unaffordable power costs. They also noted that the pricing structure disproportionately affects energy-intensive sectors, undermining Ghana's industrial goals. The associations are calling for transparent reforms, efficiency-driven pricing, and a crackdown on corruption to support business growth and job creation. And on to our last story, investor demand for treasury bills declined last week, with the government raising only 2.89 billion Ghana cedis out of 6.57 billion Ghana cedis target, missing mark by 3.68 billion Ghana cedis, representing 56%. This followed a strong rebound in demand the previous week. The 91-day bill attracted the highest interest, with 2.09 billion Ghana cedis in bids and 2.08 billion Ghana cedis accepted. The 182-day bill saw 704 million Ghana cedis tendered and 699 million Ghana cedis accepted, while the 364-day bill drew 136 million Ghana cedis in bids, with 110 million Ghana cedis accepted. Analysts attribute the weaker turnout to tight liquidity, as banks may have tied up funds in Bank of Ghana OMO bills. Yields increased across all tenors. The 91-day rose to 10.69%, the 182-day to 12.43%, and the 364-day to 12.92%, reflecting investor caution and the liquidity crunch. And this is all we have for you on the Business Update segment on the Koko Digest Morning Show. Thank you for staying with us. My name is Peter Itia. Up next is the Lifestyle segment with Miriam Abena Adede. Please stay tuned.
about the yellow talk.
And you're welcome back to the Koko Digest Morning Show. It feels great to come back on your screens here for the lifestyle segment. I am Miriam Abna Adede, and that was Pancake by Shatta Wale. Shatta Wale has been in the news lately, for only positive news. Shatta Wale celebrated his birthday, his 41st birthday over the weekend, and he held a Shatta Fest, festival, music festival for his fans, in a way of appreciating them. And, when we talk about Shatta Wale, he's like a crowd puller, right? We are not talking about Shatta Wale today, but I'm just saying that we here at Clock TV, we are also wishing him a belated happy birthday. I have Peter Insia here with me, and he's going to help us in today's lifestyle conversations because we are going to be talking about personal hygiene. But before that, let me just take Peter's thoughts on Shatta Fest. Peter.
Mimi, Shatta Fest was something else. As usual, we know Shatta Wale already. The number of audience he has, his songs, controversy, and all that. Recently, we saw him in the news about UK and all that.
Yeah.
His birthday was a pure shutdown. We had people coming from different countries. Some of his fans, namely Ziggy, Pella, coming out from Nigeria to support. It was mind-blowing, the love. Shatta is a whole brand.
I know,
He's a whole brand.
When he says he wants to do something, he will do it.
He will do it.
And that was what we saw at the Independence Square over the weekend. Now, today we will be talking about, everyday hygiene, personal hygiene. It is very, very important. We think about your health, and that is what we always do here on the lifestyle segments. We'll be having a guest with us, but it's going to be a phone-out session. We'll be interacting with her soon. But we will just have, some chats here in the studio because personal hygiene is not just for our guests. It's just not just for you at home watching us. It is for all of us, including myself. And when we talk about personal hygiene, please don't limit it to just the washing of hands, under running water and with soap. Peter, when we talk about personal hygiene, I know this is not the first time you're hearing of personal hygiene, but when we talk about personal hygiene, what really comes to mind?
Well, for me, I would say, looking back or relating this to school, the early days, primary school, when you talk about personal hygiene, I know when I go to school, my teachers will inspect my teeth, my fingernails, sometimes my toenails, and then my armpit and all that. And so basically, personal hygiene is all about how you keep yourself clean and to ensure that you're healthy and all that. Okay.
So our guest is on the line, and we'll just quickly want to interact with her. She's in the person of Dr. Hebezina Opoku-Achiampong. She's a physician assistant, HSE officer, BLS and ACLS officer, and she's also an entrepreneur. She's going to help us with today's conversation. Hello, Ma.
Hello, Miriam. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us here on Clock TV.
You're welcome, dear.
Okay. So we are talking about everyday hygiene habits that makes, a big difference. And personally, we were trying to give our takes or thoughts on personal hygiene. But to you, being a health practitioner, what does personal hygiene mean to you?
So when you talk about, thank you so much for this great platform. And then good morning to your lovely viewers and then listeners as well. So when we talk about personal hygiene, they are practices and routine an individual performs to keep their body clean and healthy. And then when we talk about personal health, it always goes hand in hand with our mental health. You are sound and then very positive always. You are always good to perform good personal hygiene. So basically, when we talk about personal hygiene, that is what we mean.
So I was also telling my co-host that when we talk about personal hygiene, we do not just restrict it to washing of the hands. That's all we know, and especially when COVID was in the system. But do we have other ways of keeping ourselves clean?
Yes, we do. Personal hygiene isn't restricted to just hand washing. Personally, you have to indulge in oral and dental care. You also have to indulge in body hygiene, and then, it's trimming of nails. It's basically how you take care of your external body. Yes, so basically, it's not just restricted to just hand washing, but it is a broad thing that we always talk about when we are dealing with personal hygiene.
Okay, and how does that affect our physical health?
It does. Whenever you maintain good personal hygiene, it helps to prevent the spread of germs and illnesses like skin infections, respiratory tract infections, and others. Because once you practice, you take your daily bath routine, you have good oral hygiene, you take care of your body by indulging in good personal hygiene. It prevents the spread of diseases because our body is full of good bacteria and bad ones. So once you don't keep your body clean, it predisposes you to other infections, which would actually be harmful to you.
Oh, okay. And some people have also said that, when you keep yourself clean, it boosts your confidence, even in relationships and, other forms of friendships. Wherever you go, even at the workplace, you have this sense of confidence because you are always neat. Do you also share the same light?
Yes, it does. Let's say, for instance, when I walk into the studio, my hair is well kept. I have dressed neat in a clean clothes. I smell good from my head to the sole of my feet. I am well kept, and then I just walk in. It makes me confident. When you see me, you think I'm very competent for the role that I am to play in the studio. And then it also shows some sort of respect and all that. So, good personal hygiene is very relevant. And even in medicine, sometimes when you walk into the consulting room and then we call something physical examination, your physique also depicts what is actually going on in your system. So if you are not well, sometimes you present physically. And if you are good and you practice these good personal hygiene, it also helps you for people to know that mentally you are sound and then health-wise too, you are also good to go.
So if, keeping yourself clean and neat comes with all these benefits, why then do people neglect personal hygiene? Because we meet people and you wonder, why do you look dirty? Why do you smell bad? Why do people neglect personal hygiene?
Like I said, personal hygiene is always interconnected with mental health. So when people have special mental health illnesses like depression, when they have low self-esteem, when they are anxious and stressed, they feel they are isolated. They don't really see the need to practice good hygiene. Assuming you went to work, you are stressed, you are very tired because of what you went through at work. Sometimes when you get home, we are all victims of that. And sometimes when you get home, you feel so tired that walking into the washroom to take a bath becomes even a problem. And when that happens, it doesn't make you have a good sleep. But when you go walk in straight into the washroom to take a cold bath, brush your teeth, give yourself the care that it needs, it makes you sleep soundly. But when somebody is not sound because of how tired and stressed and anxious the person is, it doesn't make them, be able to practice the good personal hygiene, but rather they intend to neglect the needed routine they are supposed to. So basically, if they are not sound mentally or they are having some mental health disorders or issues, that will make them neglect personal hygiene.
Doc, some will also say that, no, keeping yourself clean and neat is, expensive. I mean, you need to buy toothpaste, you need to buy deodorants and a whole lot. So do you just feel it is just about mental health issues, or people do not really have the resources to, purchase the things that will help them stay neat and clean?
Okay, so I always say poverty is the risk factor to so many diseases and daily problems in our world. Now, in situations of extreme poverty, the immediate need for food and shelter takes priority over hygiene. So the costs associated with hygiene products like soaps, sanitizers, sanitary pads, and other things becomes a barrier because they will rather prioritize shelter and then food instead of their health, because that's their priority. That is what they need at that particular point in time. It isn't expensive. Sometimes walking into the washroom, getting any soap that will kill, bacteria, the bad ones, which will make you smell bad. No, you just have to get any antiseptic soap, which will help you clean your body. It isn't expensive. You just get a less expensive deodorant or fragrances. And then also the need to also change your old clothes or dirty clothes. It is always good to be changing, your old clothes into new ones. But if you don't do that and then you go contrary to, you may, indulge in a very bad personal hygiene.
Okay. Now, Doc, let's look at some daily hygiene practices we can all, practice at home. Can you walk us through some, hygiene practices we should all know?
Yeah, sure. So we have 1,001 practices everyone should adopt. And these are the key ones or the few ones that we'll talk about. Hand washing. And there's a need to always practice it in our daily life. And then taking regular baths also is also very key. Brushing of teeth, wearing clean clothes, keeping the nails trimmed. I always say I'm not trying to do damage control here, but I always have problems with ladies that fix their nails. Okay. It creates a habitat for germs and then harmful bacteria to harbor in there and then cause infections or diseases. Because how many times do you even wash those nails? You don't.
Exactly.
And then some even go as far as inserting their fingernails into their private parts, especially in their VJs, their vaginas, which is very bad. And then when we come to, in the cases of men too, some also leave their hands, their fingernails very grown. The same way as I spoke about these ladies. It also creates a habitat for the harmful bacteria to cause diseases and other things to us. And then the use of deodorants. We are not talking about most expensive deodorants and fragrances. No. You live according to your end, or you cut your coat according to your size. The less expensive ones, right after your bath, you just apply. And mind you, there should be regular shave. You always have to shave. Now, in dermatology, when bacteria break down sweat, the process is called, there's a process, it ends, and it's called bone hydrosis. That's another word for bad odor. When you leave your armpit and then your pubic parts unshaved, it creates room for bad odor or bone hydrosis. And then with women, when they leave their pubic hairs, unshaved and all that, once you urinate, your urine contains nitrogen, and when it mixes with the sweat and all that, it creates room for bad odor. So whenever you take your panty or your boxer shorts off, there's some sort of bad odor in there. So I would urge everyone to have regular or frequent shaves. And then one classical thing that I'll educate people on, especially with our girls, ladies, and women. When you visit the washroom and after you poop, you need, because of the proximity between your perineum and then your anus, you need to wipe from front to back. Always wipe from the front to the back. Because once you wipe from the back to the front, you are introducing fever into your vagina, which will create some sort of other harmful or serious infections in there. So these are the few hygiene practices that we should all adopt.
Right, Doc. So speaking about the regular shaves, I don't know, I've been seeing a lot of men keep their beard, very bushy. Does that also affect, their hygiene, or they should have regular shaves also there? I'm just asking for my colleagues here.
Due to looks and all that, people look good in beards, but you need to keep it very neat.
Oh, okay.
It is not restricted to just shaving. You need to wash it thoroughly. Get it washed, just like women go to the salons to wash their hairs and all that. And then I totally forgot about this. When women are in breach, due to hair growth and all that, they intend to leave their hair to be on for like a month or two. It is a very bad habit.
Oh.
It creates room for harmful bacteria. That's how come sometimes you'll be in public and you'll be, trying to beat your head because it's itchy.
Yeah.
There's this, and you need to wash it. You need to have a hair care for yourself, just like the beard. So it's not necessarily about shaving, no. You have to get it trained, wash it, and then you need to look very clean about it too.
All right, Doc. Now, let's look at how those that work there 9 to 5 or 9 to 6 or even 8 to 5, we have a very, very busy schedule. How can we create, hygienic practices around us? Because even with the use of the washroom, because we are in a hurry to leave the place, we just do anything anyhow and then we just exit the washroom. How can we create healthy, hygienic practices for our lives since we are very busy?
Okay. So when it comes to that, we are always busy. So people intend to go to the washroom, just pee, and then they just walk out. No. It doesn't necessarily mean once you are there to poop, it is only after there's a poop and there's a wipe that is always going to make you wash your hands. No, that is very bad. So what you do is, once you get into the washroom isn't a hygienic place. Though the place is clean, but it isn't a hygienic place because there's an excreta. You are excreting urine, you are excreting feces, you are excreting, pits, flames, and other things in there. So the probability of you touching contaminated surfaces are very high. The doorknobs, other places, your phones, your tablets, your laptops, and other things is also very high. So what you do is once you enter the washroom, once there's a touch, and especially the first contact is the doorknob, from there you take a tissue to wipe the place. Your hands are contaminated. So, and it is full of germs and harmful bacteria. What you have to do is get an antiseptic soap. Clean your hands. Rub your hands around, interlace your fingers and practice hand hygiene. And then you have to, wash your hands with a running water. Afterwards, you clean it with a paper towel, and then you discard it off.
Okay, Doc. Now, let's look at how parents and guardians can help, their kids to also stay hygienic. We'll be wrapping up very soon.
Okay, so when it comes to kids imitate whatever we do. So when you practice daily routines, you make it fun and then very consistent, like brushing your teeth first thing in the morning, going to the washroom to also take a bath, and then practicing hand hygiene, especially right after school. These things help the kids. And then using animated hand sanitizers to always constantly remind the kids that once they touch contaminated surfaces, they need to rub their hands with the hand sanitizers so that it prevents them from getting ill and all that. And then education, as well as using visual aids, also helps kids to remind them that once they use the washroom, there's a need to wash your hands thoroughly with soap under running water. And then I think they will be healthy, and we all will be healthy as well.
Thank you so much, Doc. Do you have any last words for our viewers in terms of personal hygiene? Any advice, any message?
Okay, so there are some myths and then misconceptions about personal hygiene. And then the first thing we are talking about is they always say hand sanitizers always replaces hand washing, which is very false. We only use the hand sanitizers when soap and then water are not available. Hence, when you wash your hands thoroughly with soap under running water, it makes it good because it actually kills 99% of the germs that are not seen by the hands. And secondly, people always say hot water is also more effective. No, water temperature has little effect on germ removal. So it is only the duration and then the friction of washing your hands with soap under running water that is very vital and then important. So, and then the last thing is hand drying. The people say hand drying is unnecessary. It is very necessary because wet hands spread germs more easily than the dry hands. So it is important to dry preferably with a paper towel and not your handkerchief and then your napkin. So that's the only.
Okay. Thank you so much, Doc, for your time.
You're welcome. You're welcome, yeah.
Dr. Hebezina Opoku-Achiampong is a physician assistant and an entrepreneur. She was our guest for today as she educated us on a few personal hygiene, practices we can all get into. I hope you've learned something. If you're a woman and there was something for you, don't keep your braids for more than a month unbraid. So, Peter. Sorry for the personal attack, okay? About the beard. Yeah. I don't know. Do you have an agenda with that?
Yeah, I want to keep it.
Why?
Sometimes, well, I wouldn't want to disclose it, but then I just want to keep it. That's why I've not shaved time. But like she rightly said, I've been washing it thoroughly to prevent all that.
Okay. So growing up, I used to hear this phrase, that African germs are not harmful. Did you ever hear that? Especially when you're about to eat and you want to go and wash your hands and your friends will be like, African germs are not harmful.
Yeah, I also heard it. And even currently, it's ongoing. It's not like maybe right after work, you're going home, you're very hungry. Whilst on the bus, you buy some yogurt.
I know, right?
Yeah, both food. You don't clean your hands. You just just one time something. Nothing will happen to me. We are all victims of this. And
we promise to change.
You rightly say, we say cleanliness is next to godliness. But then when you take a look at in as much as we are trying to keep ourselves like neat personal hygiene, when you take a look at some of our trotro seats and then our public washrooms, we might need divine intervention. Because you see, sometimes I understand what Doc said, that if you see that somebody is not all that clean and all that, it goes with, the brain.
Yeah.
But sometimes people have of this view that I can't wake up, go through the whole process, bath, ensure, dress neatly, and come and sit in public transport. That is so dirty.
Yeah.
Sorry, excuse me for lack of better words. And even use public washroom that, like you rightly stated. Sometimes you go to some of the washrooms and
you can't stay there for like a minute.
It's very bad.
And I always say that it is what we do for ourselves that will translate into what we do for our communities, our environments. They just ended Chatterfest at the Independence Square. You could see the filth. And these were things done by people, the fans of Chattawale.
Yeah.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
Because they have this perception that someone will come and clean it up, let me just litter the place. But you have to take care of yourselves before you be able to take care of your environment. It is a very disturbing situation.
But now it is not like that. When I was growing, my mom used to tell me and my sisters that we have something we call outside gentility, home cry. Currently, we don't have even outside gentility. When you go to people's houses, like you can't even breathe. And then when they come outside, like the Chatterfest, for instance, you can't eat. Maybe you drink water and litter the place. Yeah. Meanwhile, there were dustbins and all that around. But then, to my boys on the street, we have something. There's this perception that when you bath too much, you get this kind of disease or something. You're prone to disease.
I like the way James is looking at you.
Yeah. For the boys. There are a lot of guys out there who bath once. So either in the morning or in the evening.
Hey.
But then the truth is that when you bath too much, you don't get prone to disease. Yeah. But it depends on the kind of soap you use. So like you made mention, the economic aspect of it. If you don't have money and you use Azuma Blues, I don't know if you know the Azuma Blues.
I know.
Bath. And gradually, the oily on your skin, that prevents some of these bacteria. You just go off dry skin and you'll be exposed to all that. So it is not basically that when you bath too much.
I have this friend who advised me to stop brushing my teeth twice because he said doing that is a way of promoting these toothpaste, companies so that you can buy, your toothpaste can get finished early and then you buy a new one. And I was like, no, why would you say that? I have to brush my, no. He was like, no, once is okay. Do you also do that?
No. You see, when you wake up and you even forget, like you said, maybe because of time you're pressed, you want to go to work and you even forget to brush your teeth. You don't feel comfortable.
Comfortable, exactly.
You don't feel comfortable at all. So it's not a good thing. And then there's one thing too. She's made mention about the fact that we should be wearing clean clothes and all that.
Yeah.
For we the gentlemen, sometimes with this black trousers, you know, when you wash it too much, it fades off. And then, you know, maybe from home, I washed it on a Sunday, Monday, I've ironed it nicely. From my place to work, I'm in a car, air conditioned. Throughout, going home too, I came with my own car. So my trousers, I can wear it like a month without washing, but then it wouldn't, it wouldn't stink.
My concern is not even with the trousers. It is with what's inside, like the boxers. I mean, the guys, I mean, personal hygiene, you have to wash.
We are on top of our game these days. It's not unlike first, when we are on top of our games. We change our boxer shorts every day. And then when you go to houses, when you see gentlemen doing washing with their boxer shorts lined up, I mean, we are mimicking you, the ladies. You know, when you go to a compound house and early Sunday morning, you see the drying line with colors, red, white.
Yellow,
these days,
like
yes.
Patapai's own.
We are mimicking you ladies.
And it's not just with the guys. I mean, some ladies also do not wash their underpants, their braziers. These things are all personal hygiene. You hug a gentleman and, you know, they'll be suffocating. They can't really breathe.
If you're talking about this on TikTok, some video went viral when a lady was doing a live video saying that her wealth is about 3-something billion, not knowing she had washed her underpants and dried on her window. And then when they zoomed in, they saw the colors, the Ghana map, multicolors out there. You see, and then sometimes when you're in a car, the hair, the ladies,
I know,
sometimes you can't breathe.
Seriously.
I mean, unlike we know that sometimes we the gentlemen, it's sometimes
you guys
we do
also
forget.
Don't tell us the truth. I mean, because
you
love the girl, you don't want to tell her to braid or but just give you hustle, like you don't really. So
Mimi,
that's
that
the plan.
amount, you know, these days, I think my sister called me and she was like, she wants to braid, and I asked how much. She said the list is like 400 or 500 cedis. Then when I check my pocket, that is normal braid, like 500. So how can I tell her if
we understand? We understand.
I mean, it comes, and sometimes when the way the person will take it, like with a gentleman, it's easy for ladies to tell us, you have to take your shower, you have to, you know, it is something that is not easy to tell somebody, maybe you have body odor or something of that kind. But then it's high time we help. Sometimes somebody might have it, but then it's not easy for the person to get to know.
Yeah.
You know, talking about shaving constantly, you know, sometimes when you shave, there's this razor balls and all that. And then when you shave, the place becomes so sweaty. And then for me personally, what I detest is that I wear a cloth and you see that the shoe or the deodorant that I used stains the cloth. So some of these things, but then with some research and some conversations I've had with my colleagues, this is not personal. Then when you just leave the armpit, you don't shave it regularly, and then you use the spray, it kind of, it stays with you for a while.
Yeah.
But then when the place is always kwabu when you use that it sweats and all.
Okay.
I mean, there should be more education, really.
Seriously, I'm not getting the brain. I mean, the understanding. We have interesting comments coming in, and it's so funny. I mean, this is from McLaren, and he says, "Brotherhood is proud of you, Peter."
Exactly.
We also have this. I have 2 boxes. I wash one every day, and then I wear the other one for visitors. Hey. Thank you guys for bringing in your comments. Peter, we'll be wrapping up shortly, but let me ask you, what's that one hygienic practice that you do not skip? Like every day, you make sure you do that, aside brushing of your teeth and taking your bath. What's that one thing you do?
That one thing is to change my boxer shorts. That is very imperative. It's very disgusting. You know, we the guys, sometimes when you repeat it, sometimes you yourself, you feel, you hear the scent, talk less of someone, beside you. So that thing, I always make sure that even before the week starts, I have 222 for the day that I don't want to repeat. And even the singlet, I don't want to repeat. That thing is very imperative. You can dress, put on all the expensive perfumes, but that thing alone, because when you sweat there, you don't wash it, you repeat it again, kind of something. So that thing, I always ensure that even if I forget anything at all, that thing I'll never forget because it can.
Well, I have a concern. Doc made mention of the fact that she has issues with ladies who fix nails, their nails. And when you check inside the nails, you see particles and, other things, unseeable things there. And for those of us who also chew our nails, I stopped chewing my nails because I started fixing nails. Now I would have to stop fixing nails because I'm preventing bacteria and other things. So I don't know where to even stand right now because I'm going to end up chewing.
But, fixing of the nails, we the gentlemen have issues with that.
Yeah.
Like, so Doc made mention of something. She made mention, I think if you can reiterate it, starting from the front, not from the back. So imagine you having this 6 inches, length of nail.
Yeah.
How then do you wash?
Yeah.
It's of utmost concern. Sometimes when it comes to things like this, your gender is so, how should I even put it? If you don't get how to communicate it, you might end up hurting the feelings of. So even with your girlfriend and all that, it is very important. Even without the. How do you even?
It is a very, very big concern.
I'm
a lady and I understand what Doc. You can't, seriously, I don't feel comfortable eating soupy foods. Swallows with my nails on. I would have to use a spoon or something because I know the kind of things I've done with the nails. And with the guys, Doc also made mention of the fact that you need to keep your fingernails short if you want to enter places. You need to keep it very, very short. You don't have to be selfish. Think about your girlfriend. Infections and other things are.
But then we, the guys, are very cautious about that because most of the gentlemen you see have short nails, always clean.
Not Andy. Andy has very, very long nails.
But it's very clean. And I'm sure he doesn't use it for that agenda that would demand that he keeps it clean. And so...
Hey, Peter. Thank you so much, Peter. Peter Nsiam is here with us at Clock TV. I am Miriam Abna. Let's do some birthdays.
I heard today was your birthday. Today was your birthday. I heard today was your birthday. I heard today was your birthday. Today was your birthday.
And of course, we heard today is your birthday. Who is our first birthday celebrant? Oh, a happy birthday, Madame Muriel Omare, meteorologist at Ghana Meteorological Agency. May your new age be filled with joy, peace, and love in Jesus' name. From all Koko Digest Morning Show team. Okay, we also have this from Precious. Precious says, to my amazing woman of God, your love, selflessness, kindness, dedication, commitment, and generosity makes you truly wonderful and exceptional. May your day be filled with more love, laughter, God's goodness, and cherished moments. Happiest of birthdays to you, God's very own. I thank God so much for God's grace on your life, woman of virtue, LP. You are deeply loved, valued, and cherished. May God keep blessing you so well on every side. Have a happy birthday. Thank you so much, Precious. The emojis were a lot. So I was just jumping one emoji to another. Thank you so much for bringing in your birthday message. And a belated birthday going out to Jampo. I call him Jams. Happy birthday to you. God richly bless you. We love you. Peter, do you have any birthday messages? Not even shout outs to your family members.
Oh, that would be my boys in the MCL. Prosper, Michael, and Felix, the Diallos.
Okay. So that's what we have for you on the lifestyle segment and also the birthday segment and in general, the Koko Digest morning show. Thank you so much. We have a footage, videos to show to you. I mean, we went on the street interacting with some people about this topic, I mean, personal hygiene, and they shared their 2 cents on the topic. Let's take a look at that, and then we will be out of here.
To me, didn't win ya. Or say, when you're to Basia, now what friend a band? What friend a band one? Yen y nipa. Into when you have friend a band, quite dominion. I do way in a matter one. Ye were no more crescent. Obi at the one, Obi so bass as no son. And Obesua on time, darling, to our sentinel. I want to man can't run when you paint him. Mom bang. Now when in ya Casacre and Bay and to Boisier. Now one and a car or Betsy Asiamo. One tea says on one or deco. So be all more one. Nimpentema or Minia made a sentinel one with the Yakra, just a woman a crown cry, and the entry ye. And after this, I was a young Casam ye we say, ne ye we ma, send anyone, ye maba cassa, meba, so sharp twas a be a man chunk of foam. Another say, Sawun Jalana, Pound Jale, we are, one sent beba, no say yes, sir, at a gentleman. Ne say, I will free yes, at a gentleman. Into a background or shan't there be no dependent short to cry. Wow, my Minokawash, into no one obey to me to baffle. And Tafedi, a dabber for your papa macho. Where dear, Miss Rama, Miss Menana de mate. Mamma, ye man with the mating. And I'm more double for soon. I'm on Colana, when our Colabi here, Juma. Ayawa, and Yawa won't cry, Ayawa. It is son, I always say, when I want to see a nature. Mawabano soon you need to say what driver no. So to me, you need to say passengers a bebo basso. Na man, just on we you maintain where you were near to any amano. So one will say, Mawabasu, no one will say, Samoya sa, a baboy, or Cocanation station, who say me to phone, or my agent kakra. So buy a year for Mubi na. Na me to phone a dabber for being pode, and try ye. And say, Momo Modena, Moye need to my yenana and Cosso. No be driving a passenger to be cassa, or a cassette driver. So obey more than a cheat. And say, this or bar, I cassette see bema. So when we say, mate, no soon when we say, or baby and to me, Cassantia driver was see a chitra. It's a mona mukitan quan. It's a mess rama. Say, enjoy your son, no catch him, say, enjoy ye. I know. Sure, body, me body me sure. Me jala na joa anapa me de semina ya ma horo me. So me mama mamutu emu so a nwanwan enti sure body emfa ho so nya mo wan kasa wo be hunwan sese hunwan sese dia problem bi eni ho
ka ahundi a anase ahunsiesi a kire se kan no na spray fast deodorant ni we na enye common ni etimi de anka adwoa ai bi friend no ai anka adwoa nketwa anka atwa de etimi de bonso na de twitwi motuo se de be ya scent bi e ma wo ho fast usi nie ma se after wash first pa no so na after wash bi eni ho enso esan de etimi ekrekra ye ho eye ho no etimi bibi etimi ye fine enso na de say be the after wash deodorant any spray abebuso it will can on your man and use ni nyina they say ye jai ni nyina ye jatete de no na ye fa more than times na they say ye nyina ye follow ntim so kakra me sumi ni mu no me time no sa time na make no anka adwa ni bi sa na me sumi di sesi hu bi me use bi da me ka se me use bi da na me boa me used to be the pa and that's at time so na you fine e could see say and the deodorant buy ye it anka just and say me ye be use kra na say me use kra mean tell use anka adwoa no ententem say deodorant ni it's a deodorant ne buy no abetwa bibia so abekat bibia short and they say deodorant na and aye easy thing a obia e use it na mekano enye no kware deodorant media dance bebre ebi onu a wokoto ne se nya wodu fa one pit no na I dey say e pompo abebobo nti ye no kware deodorant no ebi nye o menye bi papa ebi ye say modern word na akoba no enu gina say oni akopa say o used to anka adwoa no dia oni akobetime use ne so oni akompe dia esan say bibia ye modern word na say computer system nintine so obi pay everything short sa na de na akoba.
So concerning personal hygiene, would you hunya personal hygiene your oral hygiene, a sense for body hygiene and which other hygiene? Into with the whole oral hygiene, no, I deal with when can and a body hygiene, no, say na one see it's here into your bar, undi huni, the biana uti basa near day, and it doesn't speak well of you. Into me who be sa, menene bekasa say, usisi uti uye hunya, shia obi na ondini hunya. In fact, say me yonko ba, shena. Nenu munka ana na ho siesie ampet odone ade a mhia na say me ne closer me friend atna say actually ne say on try so between ne say 2 times a day on dry morning and evening say me busana no sensem na oka say we sikasema na bibia me bomoden ato kakrama no say deodorant ana soap ana paste na on fin chuchu no ntimi maintain ni hu yie
ahondindie ahondindie de minim fa ho ne se woni pa no ya wo nkwala blemu a nka ne tete ne ya nananom no na akwala na dwale ana se bia awo akiri yi na eba no obawo a na chi yi na eba no nsuo bi wo ho ebogu akwara ho a etimi create saa kankan no ne ade no ma no ena enum kankan nso ebi wotrem bi ade enom ne ade se wa wofo na nkoso anhwewo na oma antritu ya na wa ngasa nipa no nso no dwale so ye nka ne tete ya na ne de anka twade ena ye de bonso mu na ye de atwitwi ye moto nti ye be ya ade be wie no na aye na adwuma ne ye dwale ne ye ko be na show aba so boys ni bi wo wa bebre ono a wo yususu ono so a wo nyini moto ono so a o nini huni nti one ne betena ka mo a obepeja ne nsa no bu kankane ye metifo ya be ide ene na nyakora so one hwan koka ene democracy nti wo ka akora asem kra no oyew no odi watam nti eje ono a ne personal yi no ja ne life for the amano eno so ha adwene ema ebinum timi mfro trotro binum timi faka because moto iso akoye hu obi pemu sisi ani bi so abefa uti so no wawu ti ende yesre ye boys ne se omomoden na sabi omunyi omoto mayen na enu akire no betimi de anka twade ekura fefa ho na de shu account sabi o wankasa okura no watimi awura nipam na ayefe na esa anya ba bia nyina na so betimi awura de me nim fa ho no.
Oh, brothers and sisters, enuanom ye na adwuwo ya ne ye di twadoni di nti se wo bekroma se wo tise wo fine wo tise wo fine pass you want me ka asem fun bia ye den enchiro because adwumanom na ye den e koba nti se nka bi wo ho a so wo hu ka ne kom ye den omunfo nti mesema mo ba adwuma na mo tise wo fine na pass you no ho no kwa ne ni ba tise wo ba ye den wo fu ka no to Mr. Moa, in the inform your bra, to Madame Masi.
There you have it. Thank you so much for staying with us here on the Koko Digest Morning Show. I am Miriam Abnadidi. A very big thank you going out to the technical team, all the presenters, our co-hosts, every single person. We thank you for making time with us and see you same time on Thursday.